Vote conservative Republican Sarah Stewart for Alabama Chief Justice. Paid for by Sarah Stewart Campaign, 2029B, Airport Boulevard, Mobile, Alabama, 36606.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's Conversational Radio Show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Hold on to your butt.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
I'm also very much of a germaphobe, by the way.
What the hell are we doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to behave.
Well, our behavior has produced some crappy results.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
I got worms. I got hairy legs.
In politics, man must learn to rise above principle.
How dare you? Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views. In the afternoon, I'm your host, Joey Clark, flying solo today. So please be generous with the phone calls. 272-9228. If not, I might just go crazy if I haven't already. And reminder, if you want to watch the show, if you want to check out, well, what I'm wearing today or something, if you're a weirdo like that, you can always go to Joey Clark Live on YouTube. Like and subscribe and comment. We're getting a fairly active comment section, and right out of the gate today, Gumptown John is saying, is Daddy Eddie going to be on today, or did he tell Joey that he's going to get some milk and not come? I'm not even going to, I'm not going to entertain that. Don't call him daddy. Don't talk about, like, my father, surrogate father stepping out of me. That's just inappropriate, Gumptown John. But see, if you want to make inappropriate comments like that or add to the content of the show, again, you can always go to Joey Clark Live on YouTube or search on Facebook or the Twitter X platform where we are streaming this show. I want to begin today with a Montgomery story. Well, a Montgomery/Alabama story. Attorney General Steve Marshall will assume the prosecution of Aaron Cody Smith, the former Montgomery police officer convicted of manslaughter, who is now seeking a Rule 32 hearing to potentially overturn his conviction. Smith, a former officer with the Montgomery Police Department, was charged with murder after the on-the-job shooting of Greg Gunn. The shooting occurred on February 25th, 2016, and Smith was arrested nearly a week later. Smith's trial ended in November 2019 with the jury finding him guilty of a lesser charge of manslaughter. He was sentenced to 14 years in prison in January of 2020. Smith is currently incarcerated at the Limestone Correctional Facility. In December 2022, the Alabama Supreme Court allowed Smith to file a writ of certiorari, or however you say that Latin word, which asked the court to review a previous decision from the Court of Criminal Appeals. The court quashed Smith's writ, his cert, but several justices suggested that Smith's counsel, that's his lawyer, and subsequent conviction may have been questionable. In a special opinion, Justice J. Mitchell wrote that it was, quote, difficult to understand how a reasonable, properly instructed jury could have convicted Smith. Justice Tommy Bryan also entered a special opinion claiming the omission of specific evidence was problematic in Smith's case and possibly raised a, quote, serious question about the effectiveness of Smith's counsel, of Smith's attorney. Smith is now scheduled before the court for an evidentiary hearing in March, seeking relief under Alabama's Rule 32. Rule 32 allows convicted people to challenge their convictions. The court can overturn a conviction or set another trial if it finds merit in the Rule 32 petition. In a typical Rule 32 hearing, the prosecutor who initially handled the case would prosecute. However, on Monday, Steve Marshall informed Montgomery County District Attorney Darrell Bailey that his office would handle the prosecution going forward. Darrell Bailey said he was, quote-unquote, deeply disappointed at the decision, but ultimately respected Alabama law that gives the Attorney General the authority to prosecute the case himself. Here's a fuller quote from Darrell Bailey. Quote, I acknowledge that the Attorney General has the authority under Alabama law to remove me as the prosecutor and to assume the prosecution. General Marshall is exercising his authority under Section 3615-14 of the Code of Alabama, and I have no choice but to comply with the Attorney General's directive. Our office has, from day one, pursued justice in this case with great integrity and professional responsibility, Bailey added. Despite the many obstacles that were placed in our way, we have won at every phase and brought justice to the Gunn family. The Facebook page Justice for A.C. Smith, run by Smith's wife, expressed delight that Bailey was off the case. So this is fascinating. It could be that A.C. Smith is got a last leg to stand on. He might be able to get out of prison with this Rule 32, and especially this move by Steve Marshall to take over the case, and these separate opinions by justices on the Alabama Supreme Court. I think he might have a point. In particular, again, quoting Justice Tommy Bryan, that Smith's case may possibly raise a serious question about the effectiveness of Smith's counsel. I had somebody texting me, was McDermott his attorney? That's what I remember. I don't know how long Mickey McDermott kept the case, but man, we'll see where that goes. And you can tell Darrell Bailey little, I read him between the lines. I'm sure he's not happy that this is taken from him, but he's a good sport following the law. So we'll see where that case goes. But the Attorney General, the great state of Alabama, making moves that could affect, in particular, Montgomery here. And speaking of Montgomery, you now have, of course, lawmakers back in session. You have lawmakers now stumping. The first big thing we're going to do is gambling. We're going to get the gambling thing done. What's the quote? Above all, we believe the people deserve the right to vote on this issue. Okay. So members of the Alabama House Gaming Study Group revealed their plan for comprehensive gaming as the push for statewide gambling begins in Montgomery. The much-anticipated gaming legislation is scheduled to drop. It dropped yesterday. We'll get to the details in a second. But State Representative Chris Blackshear, who is carrying the bill in the House, presented the facts of the two bills. One bill will repeal all constitutional amendments allowing gambling in certain parts of the state and remove the state's constitutional gambling prohibition. The other authorizes a series of provisions legalizing casino gaming in specific locations and a statewide lottery and online sports betting. Constitutional amendments can only be approved by the legislature. Final passage requires a favorable vote from the Alabama public. Blackshear said the constitutional amendment would appear on the November 8th general election ballot if passed. Boasting poll results of 405 registered Alabama voters, the group of legislators who kind of wheeled this thing out claim that 91% of Alabamians support allowing the people to vote on gaming. 76% support a regulatory gaming bill, and 89% support making gaming facilities pay state taxes. Well, State Representative Andy Witt began the conference by saying illegal gambling occurs in all 67 Alabama counties, and that the new legislation would allow the state to crack down on illegal gambling operations. Above all, we believe the people deserve the right to vote on this issue, said Witt. And also, a recent guest of the show, Greg Albritton, chimed in. State Senator Albritton. He said, quote, we can put any piece of legislation together that we want. But it will only pass and become law if the citizens make that decision, not your legislators that are elected here. We're just trying to get a framework together that we think would work best for all. So the details are coming out. The bill was released yesterday, and there's a few questions I have. I think this is an improvement on the last time this was actually put down on paper, what they wanted to do. But there's also, I think, some remaining questions. And just take the rhetoric I just read, folks, from the lawmakers saying that illegal gaming is going on, and so we got to stop it by regulating it. But as you get into the details of the bill, it appears some of the biggest offenders of the so-called law in this state, especially when it comes to games of chance, they will be rewarded and grandfathered in. Now, there is apparently an open bid process. I'm not reading this going, I'm dead set against it by any means. And apparently the big hurdle will not be the House. It will be in the Alabama Senate. But you're starting to see the actual details of the bill. It has been filed. You can go to the legislature's website if you like. But as the bill stands today, all current gaming that is being conducted under the controversial 18 constitutional amendments, all these local amendments, will be allowed to continue to operate until January the 1st, 2027, so long as they complete a few steps. One, provide names of, address of its principal owners and investors, business records. So essentially Sunlight. Provide a sworn statement of willingness to accept regulation by the Alabama Legislature and Gaming Commission. 3, pay any applicable state taxes as provided by general law. Provide a description of what gaming activities are employed in your operations. So it's almost like if y'all become legit and stop playing around in this gray area of the law, we'll let you go along, most likely. But after asking for clarification on that part of the bill, 1819 News clarified with several lawmakers that this provision does not include every mom and pop store with gaming. Interesting. It only includes those recognized by the current controversial 18 constitutional amendments. So if you were already able to get an amendment for your locale and you've been operating under that supposed authorization, if you now follow these new steps to become straight or legit with the state, you can still practice. But if you've got a little bar or pool hall or something and you've got gaming going on, they really don't want to hear it from you. The bill also prevents gaming establishments from providing campaign funds to any candidate, including direct support or through a PAC. I think that's a pretty good prohibition. This would cover Poarch Creek Indians as well as other licenses. In addition to most of the criminal penalties being raised from misdemeanors to felonies, the Alabama Gambling Commission can also impose civil penalties. They will also be able to assess a civil penalty of up to $100,000 on any gaming operation that is not working within the regulations of the Gaming Commission. The penalties also increase with subsequent offenses by the same individual or entity. The bill gives the Alabama Court of Civil Appeals original jurisdiction to hear various appeals of the Gaming Commission's actions and would provide for the ability to appeal to the Alabama Supreme Court. Challenges by those that are unsuccessful gaming establishments that fail to receive a license will not have the ability, like the Medical Marijuana Commission, to strangle things out in the local courts. Those unsuccessful in acquiring a license cannot hold the issue up in the courts. The award of a gaming license by the Gaming Commission shall be deemed final and conclusive by the courts of Alabama. The bill states that no action, claim, counterclaim, defense, or other legal argument challenging the validity of the license shall be brought or maintained in a court of Alabama by an unsuccessful gaming establishment. Further, it says the court shall be powerless and without jurisdiction to issue an injunction preventing the Gaming Commission from issuing a license. Any appeal made that would prevent a license from being issued would be appealed directly from the Court of Civil Appeals to the state Supreme Court. Speaking with lawmakers, it seems this bill will pass the House. However, the uphill battle is in the Senate. Apparently, there's not much appetite for this legislation there in that much smaller body. However, after initially speaking to people who previously voted no on gaming issues, some have come to the middle of the road on this issue. A major hurdle, and one that many members have told 1819 News, is that Democrat support for this bill will be contingent upon it being on the November ballot. Many Democrats believe that it is the best chance they have to help drive turnout and beat any potential Republican nominee given whatever race. For the bill and constitutional amendments to pass, there must be 63 votes in the House and 21 votes in the Senate. If that occurs, the vote will go to the people of Alabama, to decide if they would like gaming. The last time this issue was voted on was in 1999, and proponents argue that it is time to give the people the right to vote. No bill of this magnitude makes it through the process unscathed, no doubt, and amendments and back-channeling for votes will most certainly occur as legislators try to get what they need for their districts. And, I don't love the grandfathering in aspect of this to a degree. I have questions of how that would affect the open bid process. I have questions exactly how this would work. It's a little confusing to me on how you're opening it up, but also limiting it to particular players. I am happy to accept, and I think most folks in this conversation accept, that the PCI, Porch Creek, are going to get a great deal out of this because they're already sitting pretty. So if you want any sort of deal or support, I believe this legislation allows the governor to engage in a compact for some unbuilt yet stood up gaming facility. But it's a big bill, folks. The actual text is out there, like I said, and I was looking through it this morning, but as I'm looking through all the definitions and the summary, I'm like, oh, wow, this thing is 138 pages. But the synopsis is out there as well, only 9 pages, but it is detailed. It is going to hinge on a lot of different parts, a lot of moving parts here. And I suspect that some of the grandfathering in is a product of trying to get this thing across the finish line. We shall see. But what do y'all think? Do you want a state lottery? Do you want casino gaming outright? Table games, everything else galore, in multiple parts throughout the state? Do you want online sports betting that's on the up and up with the Alabama authorities? It's not like you can do that now, under the table, like everybody else is doing. All sorts of aspects. But 272-9228, I would love to hear your take on this first blush of the new gaming legislation being pushed in the legislative session. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And their Pest Pro Services, Ashley and her team are ready to help you with all your pest control problems. But termite season, it's right around the corner, if not here already. Termites love moisture. They love that rain. Or maybe you recently had a leak that you got fixed, but did you get all the moisture out? And this is the deal, that termites will be attracted to that stuff. And the best way to deal with termites is to deal with them before they cause any damage. That's ideal. And so Pest Pro Services is ready to do a free in-home inspection, a free inspection for termites, as well as estimate if you do, in fact, have issues. So it's whether they've already hit your property or maybe you're just looking for preventative measures. Pest Pro Services, again, will come to your house for a free termite inspection. And you know what, folks? After working with them, you're going to find I might as well make these great people, these professional folks, these local folks, I might as well make them my everyday pest control company. It's not just termites. It's not just mosquitoes. It's all my pest control problems. So call up Pest Pro Services today if you're interested. 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fool on the radio, sent you. More news and views in the afternoon. After this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Hey there, River Region area. Dawson Electric hopes you had an amazing Christmas and a fantastic New Year. As we step into 2024, it's time to tackle those resolutions and make sure your home or business is in tip-top shape. And for all your electrical needs, there's one name you can trust, Dawson Electric. Whether you're planning a remodel, constructing a new home, home or require service for your existing electrical systems, Dawson Electric has got you covered. Need emergency generators installed? Looking to enhance your outdoor space with stunning landscape lighting? Dawson Electric is the answer. We do it all for homes and commercial spaces alike. For more information, you can find us on Facebook. Search for Dawson Electric Company, LLC. Hit the like button and stay connected with us. We're happy to speak with you at any time. Just call 334-270-8024. Say it with me. That's 334-270-8024. For all your electrical service needs for home or business, call us at Dawson Electric. Dawson Electric, lighting up your world.
I'm with Miss Dot at the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall. Dot, you have a big event coming up.
February is the biggest month we've had in years because this is our 30th anniversary, and it will be February the 24th from 9 until 6.
Anything special going to happen that day?
There will be surprises, giveaways. You can use gift certificates on that beautiful mahogany furniture that we've got, and we've got gorgeous mahogany. Some of it is signed pieces, as a matter of fact. We've got the Tiffany style lamps. We've got chests and beds and tables and chairs. And it's just so much. I can't really get across to you how much we've got.
All right, the date and hours for your big anniversary sale?
February 24th, 9 until 6.
And give us those regular hours of operation.
Monday through Friday is 10 until 6. Saturday 9 to 6, and Sunday is 12:30 to 4:30.
That's the Eastbrook Flea Market and Antique Mall, 425 Coliseum Boulevard.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. So Eddie isn't here, but he's commenting plenty, saying, let's get ready to gamble. And then you've got David Cloud there saying, they will fight over who can steal the money. Look at the legal pot legislation. Well, I think this is actually an improvement. They've learned some of their lesson from the legal pot stuff, David. But again, this is a massive bill. 138 pages, pretty big by Alabama standards. And so I was just given sort of the broad strokes there. I don't pretend to be a lawyer. When you look through this actual thing, there's a lot of amending of the legal code. So I'm going to be reaching out to some folks in the days to come. But let's go to Scott. Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Doing great. Long-time listener. Don't really call that much, but on this particular topic, I believe that they should move forward. However, what I would do is I would look at other states that have a lottery system and look at the pros and cons and see what's working for them and what things have not been working, and take those things that are not working and see how you can improve them so we do not make the same pitfalls in our state as the other states. And that's how I would do it.
And you like the whole package in the sense it's not just a lottery, but sports betting and table games and these sorts of things too?
I do in a way, because if you start slicing and dicing and say, no, we can only have this and not that, it's just, it doesn't seem like it's fair. This is a capitalistic market. Let the capital markets deal with it. So that's just my 2 cents.
Well, I appreciate it, Scott. Thank you for listening all these years, and always feel free to call. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Again, 272-9228. Again, this is first blush of the gambling legislation. So if you want to throw your hat into the ring, a clarification I need to get is, okay, if it's open bid, do the current entities in these 18 areas that have constitutional amendments, do they get a leg up, or is it true open bid? Anybody could go into those areas and try to bid out to run a full-on gambling facility. I think that's a very important question to ask, but we shall see. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on that. But there's other things going on around the state. In particular, Congressman Barry Moore. He's our congressman. He's, if I could say it, my congressman. But he's not going to be my congressman for too much longer, because Barry is not running in District 2. Well, they kind of drew him out of the old District 2. He is running in District 1, and we haven't followed this campaign between Barry Moore and Jerry Carl in detail, because it's just not our neck of the woods. We can't vote in it. But Barry is still our congressman here in this area, so I do want to give an update, because it's getting a little pointed. I wouldn't say nasty. It's not nasty levels just yet, but it's getting a bit pointed. So last month, Jerry Carl had a spot airing throughout the 1st Congressional District proclaiming Barry Moore was, quote-unquote, not a conservative. But in the recently released spot, Moore responds to the charges and claims Carl's motivation to go negative is because he's behind. Well, so it's also, I think, neck and neck at this point in the campaign. Absolutely neck and neck. So how about this? Let's watch the Barry Moore ad together and see, well, how Barry is trying to defend his conservative record or deflect from what the Carl campaign is throwing his way.
I'm Congressman Barry Moore, and I'm here to shoot straight.
Okay, that's a good start. I'm going to back it up and keep going with this. But you start with a cocked shotgun? All right.
I'm Congressman Barry Moore, and I'm here to shoot straight. These campaign ads are downright dishonest. Saying I'm against a secure border when I co-sponsored H.R. 2, one of the toughest border bills in history. Saying I betrayed Trump when I was the first to endorse him in the nation. I have stood with him every step of the way. When a candidate goes negative, you know they're behind. As a member of the House Freedom Caucus, I am fighting the status quo, and they will stop at nothing to take me out. If you can shoot straight about your own record, there's no need to distort someone else's. I'm Barry Moore, and I approve this message.
No, I think that's an effective ad, especially with that sound effect beginning the thing.
I'm Congressman Barry.
Yeah. All right. Well, he's going to shoot straight. I think that's an effective ad. I have to give kudos to Barry. Also, Dick Brubaker's had some great ads out. I think just the look at the camera, talk directly to the camera, make a point in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, get out of there. I think that is probably the most effective approach. In this cynical age, in my humble opinion, people don't want all the theatrics, and I know there's some dramatic music in Barry's ad, but like the over the top, the B-roll, all the music, all the emotional power plays that are going on. Now, I think folks just want somebody to shoot straight with them in this day and age where, well, for lack of a better word, we lack trust. We lack immense trust. Now, another congressional race, not District 1 that Jerry Carl and Barry Moore are going at it in, but in AL2, GOP candidate Caroline Dobson has signed on to Grover Norquist's no tax pledge. Now, I don't know how much love I have for Grover himself, but if somebody's pledging no new taxes, I'm down with that. I'm absolutely down with that. But they might make a difference among Republican candidates in this newly drawn 2nd congressional district. So Dobson hopes to distinguish herself by signing the official Taxpayer Protection Pledge. This is designed by Americans for Tax Reform. Dobson traveled to Washington, D.C. on Monday, met with Grover Norquist, And Norquist had his photo taken with her after she signed the pledge. Dobson is the only candidate in the race who has signed the taxpayer pledge. Polling indicates 3 candidates leading this Congressional District 2 race. Brubaker, Dick Brubaker, Albritton, Greg Albritton, and Dobson, Caroline Dobson. Brubaker is a retired automobile dealer, former state senator, as you all know. Albritton is a current state senator. He's in Atmore at the moment. Although he doesn't live in the 2nd Congressional District, he has lived in it in the past and insists he will return if elected to the U.S. House. Dobson is a real estate attorney in Montgomery. She has never run for office before and claims to be a candidate running against career politicians. After signing the taxpayer pledge, Dobson told the leaders of Americans for Tax Reform, true conservatives are defined by certain fundamental principles, and opposing any new taxes, whether on the local, state, or federal level, is chief among them. While other candidates in this primary have already supported taxes in the past, I understand that hard-working Alabamians must be allowed to keep the wages they earn, especially with prices for food and other essential goods spiking under Joe Biden and his liberal Democrat cronies. So, I don't know if that moves the needle exactly, but this race is shaping up to be just that. I think a strong 3-way race, and, we'll see where that shakes out. I still, in my honest opinion, think it's Dick Brubaker's to lose. I think he is leading the pack, and that's for a lot of good reasons. He's kind of earned it over the years. But I've been very impressed with both Greg Albritton and Caroline Dobson in my conversations as well. So we'll continue to see how they distinguish themselves from one another. Another issue that has popped up in the state, going back to the State House, and I think this is actually, it's a weird one to talk about, but it's despicable, but it's true. It's Alabama dealing with artificial intelligence. Now, you heard Governor Kay Ivey, and to her credit, she said, "No, I don't know the first thing about AI. Missy, ain't that right?" Actually, she didn't even sound that powerful. But there is one state senator, April Weaver, Republican from Briarfield. She pre-filed a bill on Monday that would add material produced through artificial intelligence or deepfake technology. She would, add that to the statute prohibiting child pornography. According to Weaver, the legislation was prompted by a recent incident in Demopolis, in which photographs of female middle school students were uploaded to an artificial intelligence website by classmates and used to make lewd and pornographic images. With the expansion and easy accessibility of artificial intelligence, some individuals are using it for immoral purposes, and we must take every step necessary to ensure that innocent and vulnerable children remain protected. As digital technology continues to advance, our laws that protect Alabamians of all ages from harm must keep pace and adapt to it. Of course, deepfake technology, folks, uses artificial intelligence to place recognizable individuals into photos, videos, and other materials they did not participate in or consent to producing. Often associated with celebrities, deepfake material is commonly used to attack and depict non-celebrity individuals. Much of the deepfake material produced with AI technology is pornographic in nature and often depicts children under 18 years of age. Ugh. It's a wild, wild world. I think this is a good law. Yeah, if you're taking pictures of people's kids, or even if it's kids taking pictures of kids, looks like it's a kind of a bullying tactic. That should not be, that should not go unpunished. Maybe not the same level as if you were actually, literally creating, distributing child porn, but there definitely should be a punishment for doing that, especially to minors. So I think good bill there by Senator April Weaver. Of course, like all these things, folks, all these bills, the devil is in the details. Maybe I should go to law school so I don't have to rely on others for my legal advice. Nah, I'll probably just stick with the radio. We got to hit another break, but first, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team, well, they're ready to help you whether you're looking to buy or sell in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. Bo's been serving this area, the River Region real estate market, for over 40 years, 4+ decades there at the Goodson Group. At the Goodson Group, they not only help you with buying and selling your property, but they have management services available should you want to rent out your home. It's a great, great deal. And the Goodson Group is also the home for the Bo Goodson Real Estate School. It's one of the most highly acclaimed and accredited real estate programs here in the state. It's a very interactive course. Bo's been through it all, again, 40 plus years. He's seen it all. The good, the bad, the ugly. And he's ready to teach you that. It's a very interactive course, and a lot of folks have graduated from the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, gone on to great success, whether it's fully licensed realtors or as more knowledgeable private players. So check them out today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here of News and Views in the afternoon. More News and Views after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage.
And I'm Madeline Cannon. And we have some exciting news to share with you. We've been serving the state of Alabama for many, many years. And now we are able and ready to offer the same great mortgage financing in Georgia and Florida as well.
Our company may be Alabama Home Mortgage, but now we can finance your Georgia home mortgage and your Florida home mortgage too. We couldn't be more excited to extend our customer base to our neighboring states. For years, we have had customers call us in hopes we could assist them with purchasing their vacation cabin in North Georgia or their dream home in Florida. And now we can. For those of you who have family and friends that live in Florida and Georgia, be sure to tell them the good news.
Whether you are looking to purchase or refinance a home located in Alabama, Georgia, or Florida, you owe it to yourself to give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time.
It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
Hello, this is Yasmin Holston with Beauty and Beyond. We've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for 10 years plus. If you would like to increase your business, use Blue Water Broadcasting radio stations. They get results.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
We've got another good day in progress. Extensive high clouds will lead to limited sunshine today, but still dry, still mild. High temperature in the mid-60s again. Not as cool tonight, overnight low 51. Tomorrow, high temperature up to about 73 with mostly cloudy skies. Still dry Friday, but for Saturday and Sunday, periods of showers and thunderstorms, locally heavy downpours at times. 72 on Saturday for a high, near 70 on Sunday. And I still think the main event will be Sunday night into early Monday with showers and storms. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to it. Now, new polling out, and again, this is not from just conservative friendly, Gallup polling. Pretty standard, fairly prestigious polling group. They have a new poll that many on the right are talking about, and I'm sure plenty of strategists and folks on the Democratic side of the aisle as well. But the new Gallup poll shows Black and Hispanic voters are fleeing the Democratic Party in growing numbers. Now, my instinct before we get into this is that it's not necessarily that Black and Hispanic Americans are like, oh, yay, we love the Republicans now. But I think there are a lot of them saying, yeah, the Democrats are awful. They are using us. Which, if you think that's just the Democrats, again, both parties, I know it's going to get into partisan silly season where we can't even think straight, The establishment works together in both parties to screw over their respective bases all the time. And they get you to stay loyal by reminding you how bad the other side is. Much they're, lying hypocrites who are just evil, bad people. And maybe that's the case. I'm willing to believe you got a lot of evil, bad people running the show here, given the results we constantly see. So my instinct is that these numbers, as you're seeing this move in terms of black and Hispanic voters, this has to do with the larger distrust and disillusionment of the American public. But among black Americans expressing a party preference, the Democratic lead over Republicans has dropped by almost 20% in just 3 years, according to a Gallup survey. The Democratic lead amongst Hispanic adults and adults ages 18 to 29 also slid by almost the same degree, leaving the party with only a modest advantage as it readies for the challenges of a 2024 campaign. So again, black Americans' party preferences shrunk from, it was a 20-point lead for Democrats in that regard. That's no longer the case. And it's only happened in the last 3 years. Democrats' lead among Hispanic adults and adults age 18 to 29 have slid nearly as much, resulting in Democrats holding only a modest edge among both groups. Whereas Democrats were at parity with Republicans among men as recently as 2009, and among non-college educated adults as recently as 2019, they are now in the red with both groups. They're now behind. These shifts in party affiliation of key subgroups provide the demographic backstory for how Democrats went from enjoying significant leads over Republicans between 2012 and 2021 to slight deficits in 2022 and 2023, Gallup put out with their survey. The 27% of U.S. adults identified as Democrat and 43% identifying as or leaning Democratic are both new lows in Gallup's trend. The Gallup data comes from combined surveys in 23 among over 12,000 adults. Very big sample size. There's only a margin of error of 1 percentage point. For the smaller groups, however, the margins of error are larger, between 2% and 4%. So the shift is real. But again, I don't think Republicans or conservatives or folks should be like reading a headline like that. And Breitbart wrote this up and being like, oh yeah, we're winning. I think, again, this is a larger trend. Call it populist. Call it, we just don't believe you anymore. Maybe it's the none of the above movement that's growing in this country. But there are a lot of Americans who are tired of both organized, established parties, the duopoly, because honestly, people are seeing right through the fake, false choices. Most of us are seeing through the false, fake choices offered all the time. Now, don't get me wrong, there are differences. There are differences in personality. You only have one person as president. You only got two people to be your senators. So it does come down to the person often, what they promise and how you like their style, so to speak. And yeah, there are basic philosophical differences in many cases between Republicans and Democrats. But when you look at the actual results for over the last 30 years, it's almost as if Washington doesn't need elected officials to run it, because it seems like Washington just keeps on doing what it's been doing. Whether you're talking about the border, don't get me started on foreign policy, and so many other aspects of our industry, the big established interests have a stranglehold on this unaccountable government. So, the people can vote how they want. We'll still figure out how to get what we want in the end. Everybody was all worried about elections being hacked in the sense of machines been hacked, or, somebody's getting in through the Wi-Fi, or somebody's printing extra ballots, all this stuff. And maybe true, maybe not on a, given case-by-case basis. But long ago, the elite, and I don't mean people just in government, I mean a lot of very powerful interests, figure out how to hack American elections and hack American democracy. Like a hermit crab, they smuggled themselves and wrapped themselves in the Constitution to do all sorts of blatantly unconstitutional things, and things that might be good for the big interest running the show, but continue to be miserable for the little guy. Inflation hits the little guy, the working class, a lot harder than it hurts, say, folks in the donor class, all these foreign wars abroad. Does that help the working class or the middle class? No, it doesn't. How about all these plans to save the world, heal the planet, or help Gaia heal herself through carbon taxes or all sorts of other schemes? Is that actually good for folks who, again, are on the margins living paycheck to paycheck to have things they have to use, fuel, the cost of that go up, and thus food and everything else go up at the same time? How about a cattywampus car market where everything's too damn expensive? How about a cattywampus housing market where everything's too damn expensive? Why is it we put an entire generation into debt slavery just to go get an education, one that's not even finding them gainful employment? And now the taxpayer has to be on the hook. When you look at, there's a pattern here, and maybe it's conscious or maybe it's not. But it seems like the little guy, and there are a lot more of us than them, continues to get screwed. I saw a great video. Now, I don't mean this in a conspiratorial way, but the idea, I think, is fairly sound, that 1% essentially own the country, own the conversation, own the institutions of power and all the levers of power. 1% owns the country. 4% are the puppets of the owners. 90% are the zombies. And the other 5% are folks trying to wake the zombies up to what the 1% and 4%, the 4% puppets and the 1% owners are doing to you, the 90%. And I generally think that is about right, though I suspect that 5% number of people trying to wake everybody else up, that's growing by the day. And once you start hitting a massive threshold of dogged folks who say, we do not believe you anymore. We do not believe the corporate press rooms. We do not believe these press briefings from the White House or the Pentagon. We do not believe the Bureau of Labor Statistics anymore. We certainly don't have faith in the CDC or NIH anymore. That number is growing by the day. More and more people are waking up. And that's why I think whether you're looking at Trump court cases or the hysteria, say, over Tucker Carlson and this Putin interview coming out tonight, it's a sign that the 1% who own everything and the 4% who are the puppets of the owners, the agents and actors on behalf of the owners, it's why they're freaking out so much and using such a heavy hand more and more. You know, I kept saying after 2020 that Biden, if he did in fact win, it was a Pyrrhic victory. And I wasn't just referring to Biden or the Democrats, though. I was referring to this entire establishment nexus, this confluence of interests, folks in government, outside of government, who all went to the same colleges, who all generally have the same perspective and look to the same prestigious institutions to get their information and filter their information. They had to pull out all the stops in 2020 to take down Trump. Now, Trump took down himself in a lot of ways. We could talk about that. Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. Like, what the hell are you doing? Are you high or you do have COVID? But having to pull out all the stops, I think, in a way, revealed the rot in the system. People couldn't unsee it anymore. Like, oh, wow, that's not how I thought American politics worked. That's not what I was taught in civics class. It's certainly not what I learned at Schoolhouse Rock. Yeah. And so if you have a massive threshold of people now saying, we don't believe you anymore, we don't buy your games anymore, well, that's the stuff that makes for huge, revolutionary changes. And it would be great to at least keep it somewhat in the American democratic tradition, little d democratic. Let's have a revolutionary election. If not, if something doesn't give here, if the establishment, whether it's Old Crow Mitch McConnell or Chuck Schumer and Biden, whoever, then I think it's only going to get worse. But we'll go through what the establishment thinks are the priorities heading into the next year. Again, the people can vote, but the expert class, the donor class, the long in the tooth senators up there who've long been the puppets of the powerful, they are going to continue to run things like they've always been running it until we vote their asses out of office. or they die or something. And I'm not calling for that. I'm saying you're so old, just look at actuarial tables. That said, we got to hit a break. This part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And they're at Cole Plumbing. James and his team, well, they're ready to help you with any of your plumbing problems, especially if you have an emergency, like a burst pipe inside or outside of your home. They have this proprietary pipe lining technology that helps will solve the problem with minimal discomfort and damage to your home. So what does that mean practically? It means they're not going to have to tear out a bunch of drywall to find the leak and fix it. It means they're not going to have to dig up a huge hole or trench in your yard to find the leak and fix it. And of course, beyond that, they can help you with things like low water pressure, clogged drains, tree root invasion, gas line leaks. Maybe you got a basement in this part of the world. It's not often, but some folks have basements. You better have a sump pump that's working. Could be you just want to upgrade to, say, a tankless water heater system or install even a taller toilet, especially for folks getting up there with age and the knees aren't working like they used to. A taller toilet can be wonderful. Cole Plumbing can do all that for you. So check them out today. You can always go to coleplumbing.com. I hope you give them a call. 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole. And in fact, we're going to get into the next hour, like I was saying, the priorities of the establishment. I think it was laid bare with this latest gambit to put Ukraine money, Israel money, and the border all together. I think it revealed exactly what their priorities are. More people into the country, more money abroad. Because this is a global empire, man. This isn't your, little backwater republic like your founding generation gave you. We now dominate the entire globe. Heck, we dominate low Earth orbit now. We dominate man's mind through our information networks. We dominate man's livelihood through our control of the money supply, the dollar being the world reserve currency. We control it all. And if not enough of you Americans are having enough kids to actually replace us as we get older and start pulling on Social Security, well, I guess we got to bring more immigrants in. If all these Americans don't want to go fight these wars for us, well, let's just treat them like we treated the Irish in the 1800s. Welcome in. You want to be a citizen? Here's a gun. Go fight. You'll get your blown off. Cynical. But it's all in the backdrop of the CBO's now projecting the national debt will increase by $20 trillion over the next decade. Just a decade. 20 trillion. 2 trillion annual deficits driven by interest on the debt alone. I think it's a big deal when you start getting compound interest and all this working up when it comes to your credit card bills. How about an entire nation? In fact, one of the largest, if the largest economy in human history happens when interest on the debt starts weighing us down. And yet, no, send more money to the Ukrainians to lose. Get more of them killed. Let's get their daughters killed now. Send more money to Israel, even though we've been sending, billions of dollars to Israel for decades now. Oh, all of a sudden that wasn't enough, all that support over decades. We had an emergency. Let's spend all this money on the border that doesn't actually secure the border. So this revealing of the priorities by the establishment, especially Mitch McConnell, has some folks in the Senate gunning for old Mitch, Cocaine Mitch. Well, he better take a bump today and have his head on a swivel, because you got a lot of unhappy senators ready to take a shot at the king. 272-9228. More news and views in the afternoon after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. 5 Marines killed when their helicopter went down late Tuesday night during stormy weather in the mountains outside of San Diego. They were on a routine training mission. Israeli airstrikes have killed over a dozen people overnight. That's hours after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected Hamas's ceasefire terms and vowed to expand the offensive into the southern Gaza town. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has pushed for further U.S. and European aid for Ukraine as he set off for a visit to Washington. He declared that it's time to send Russian President Vladimir Putin a very clear signal that the West won't let up on supporting Kyiv. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 35 points, the Nasdaq adding 47. This is SRN News.
The new FedNow system is paving the way for the digital dollar. It grants the government unprecedented access to your financial transactions. This isn't just an invasion of privacy. It's a direct assault on your liberty and hard-earned money. It's another reason why I recommend physical gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst and a podcaster with nearly 25 million downloads to people just like you who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Big Brother while also preserving your retirement savings through almost anything, including economic crashes, political instability, and even hyperinflation. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. Remember, there's no strings attached. Text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you're blessed with continued prosperity.
Weather is brought to you by the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
Your health and well-being can quickly be impacted by changing weather. The Johnny Adams Law Firm wants you to remain safe and be weather alert with the Rich Thomas Weather Network.
We've got another good day in progress. Extensive high clouds will lead to limited sunshine today, but still dry, still mild. High temperature in the mid-60s again. Not as cool tonight, overnight low 51. Tomorrow, high temperature up to about 73 with mostly cloudy skies. Still dry Friday, but for Saturday and Sunday, periods of showers and thunderstorms. Locally heavy downpours at times. 72 on Saturday for a high, near 70 on Sunday. And I still think the main event will be Sunday night into early Monday with showers and storms. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Looking for a tractor, excavator, mower, ag implements, or other equipment? Capital Tractor is as close as your smartphone or computer. Find the best deals, financing information, and browse new and used inventory with just a click at CapitalTractor.com.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. The city of Montgomery continues to crack down on apartments with poor living conditions. A meeting with tenants from apartment complexes will be held today at the Montgomery City of Refuge Church at 5:30 p.m. to inform tenants of their rights and options. Members of the Alabama House Gaming Study Group revealed their plan for a comprehensive gambling plan on Wednesday. Lawmakers supporting the legislation presented the bill's key points at the Montgomery State House. The much-anticipated gaming legislation is scheduled to be introduced today. The two teenagers charged in the death of Michael Cole Jr. have been granted bond. Defendants Nicholas Shepard and Nevin Jones have admitted being involved in the shooting death of Michael Cole Jr. on January 25th. Both teenagers' bond was set at $750,000. The autopsy of Michael Cole Jr. is still pending. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Love is in the air and on the boat. The Harriet II riverboat, that is. Bring your special someone for a romantic evening and experience the elegance of cruising the Alabama River. Enjoy a delicious dinner while taking in the stunning sights. Dance the night away to the tunes that touch your soul, or just sit back and relax. Roses and champagne complete your lover's evening. You have 4 nights to choose from, February 14th, 15th, 16th, or 17th. Book your Valentine's cruise at funinmontgomery.com.
Conservative Justice Sarah Stewart has the experience to lead Alabama's courts. As a tough-on-crime judge, Sarah Stewart presided over hundreds of cases, giving tough sentences to the worst criminals. Republicans can trust Justice Sarah Stewart to defend the Constitution and protect our families. On March 5th, vote conservative Republican Sarah Stewart for Alabama Chief Justice. Paid for by Sarah Stewart Campaign, 2029B, Airport Boulevard, Mobile, Alabama, 36606.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's Conversational Radio Show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Now, as promised, here is a little clip from Teddy Boy, Ted Cruz. This happened, just as all this stuff was breaking with this border so-called compromise. And we'll get into more detail. Great report by the Daily Caller on why and who is so upset with Mitch McConnell there in the Republican conference. I doubt they'll want to talk about it publicly, but I'd love to pick the brains of both Senator Tuberville and Senator Britt on what's happening within the U.S. Senate. But here is Ted Cruz at a press conference where they were pretty much ripping into this deal. And Cruz has asked, is it time for McConnell to go?
I think it is. Look, everyone here also supported a leadership challenge to Mitch McConnell in November. I think a Republican leader should actually lead this conference and should advance the priorities of Republicans. I can tell you what I said when we had that leadership election in November of 2022. It was right after a very disappointing election. 2022, the wind was at our back. It should have been a phenomenal Republican election year. Republicans should have won the Senate. We should have won a big majority in the House. Instead, we lost a seat in the Senate, and we barely got a majority in the House. And I stood up and said, look, in any ordinary organization, when you are faced with failure, if you're running a business and you lose $50 million, you don't just say, hey, everything's great, let's keep doing it. No, you sit down and say, what are we doing wrong? And at that meeting, I turned to Mitch McConnell then, and I said, look, we spent the last 2 years with a handful of Republicans joining with Democrats to pass the Democrat agenda. And I said, maybe that's a good idea. I don't think it is, but someone could make the argument that's a good idea.
Yeah, there are a lot of folks, especially, say, conservative voters, that don't think that's a good idea. And in fact, I keep hoping for this sort of populist, weird new alliance. I'd imagine there are a lot of Democrats out there who aren't addicted to the fake news. There are a lot of Democrats out there who can think for themselves, who are none too happy with their establishment leaders either. That's one thing that, at the end of the day, should give some of us hope. That as much as you're a real conservative, you're a real Republican, you hate Mitch McConnell because he's a rhino, keeps selling you out. There are folks on the other side of the aisle, Democrats, feel the exact same way about Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton and that whole cast of characters, or Biden himself. But yeah, it's not just Ted Cruz. But Cruz said that, well, Mitch McConnell, in effect, gave the largest in-kind campaign contribution to the Democrats' Senate Campaign Committee in history. Conservatives, both inside the official Republican Party apparatus and out, have long criticized McConnell, an institution in the Senate with a reputation for shrewd negotiation and savvy maneuvering, for not taking sufficiently hardline stances on key issues to the party's base. McConnell has continued to keep a stranglehold on power in the Republican conference for nearly 2 decades, but momentum to remove him has reached a fever pitch after a tidal wave of backlash over this border policy proposal unveiled this week. This is from an anonymous Republican senator speaking freely under that veil of anonymity. Don't tell Nikki Haley. Saying, quote, I think this is our opportunity to take him out, and we're sort of working to figure out if that's possible. I think that there's a bit of a chicken and egg problem where I think you probably have the votes, but you need somebody to step forward. And that person's that's unwilling to step forward unless you're got the votes. So wait, to get the votes, you need somebody to step forward, but to get that person to step forward, you need the votes. It can't just be a Mike Lee or a Ted Cruz and sort of everybody who hates Mitch thing, one Republican senator said. You obviously have to get kind of the middle of the conference, so that's all being worked on behind the scenes. And I think, frankly, how this vote works out will help determine whether the conference, broadly speaking, is willing to go in that direction. McConnell, of course, put Oklahoma Republican Senator James Lankford in charge of border deal negotiations with Democrats in the Biden administration. Every Senate Republican the Daily Caller spoke with laid the blame on McConnell, however, saying he was the only one truly crafting the deal behind the scenes and used Lankford, who is not running for re-election. I did not know that till this morning. That's amazing. The guy that you put in charge of running this negotiation, he's not even running for re-election? Wow. I wonder how much he's getting paid to polish that turd up and take all the heat from McConnell, but I'm glad a lot of Republicans ain't buying it. They're saying it's McConnell who used Lankford as a pawn to take the fall for what the lawmaker said is a gift to their opponents. Every single Democrat candidate in the country running for Senate, running for House, will use the identical talking points. They will all say, we wanted to secure the border, we tried to secure the border, but the Republicans wouldn't let us. Now, that is a wild-eyed lie. It is completely false. This bill would have made the border crisis worse. That's from Ted Cruz. Ron Johnson weighed in, saying, as long as I've been serving in the Senate, there's never been an issue where the American public is so overwhelmingly in support of our position, which is to secure the border. So how can you take as leader, how do you take an issue where the American people support us and lead us into a box where now, when a bill is produced, it's worse than doing nothing? When that's rejected, we get blamed. I mean, you got to work overtime to screw that up. Guys, y'all are being too charitable. Mitch did not screw this up. Mitch was playing this game all along. When will you understand that Mitch McConnell's old school, baby? His foreign policy is still stuck in the 1980s, and his fiscal policy seems stuck in the 1960s. And he's got a lot better relationship, I guarantee you, with Chuck Schumer and with Joe Biden than he does with anybody in the so-called Republican base. Brand new Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio said, quote, I've even heard privately Democratic colleagues tell me your leadership was desperate to make a deal, that it made us less willing to negotiate. So this is an open secret that these guys were not driving a hard bargain. And you see the results in the border package that came out. And now we're seeing the second step of the process, which is kill the border package, jam through the Ukraine package. It doesn't make any sense. In fact, that's what they're going to do. After this fell through, the motion to proceed on this new bill failed 49-50. Maine Senator Susan Collins, along with Lisa Murkowski, Mitt Romney, and Lankford were the only GOP senators who voted to pass the legislation. Meanwhile, several Democrats also opposed the deal, including Bernie Sanders, Senator Bob Menendez, Massachusetts Ed Markey, and the fat-free ranch, she's disgusting, of progressivism, Elizabeth Warren. So fake. So rich. So fake. Senate Majority Leader Schumer then put the package on the floor to ship aid to Ukraine and Israel with no provisions for border security. It was always the plan, folks. That's why I appreciate J.D. Vance and this new crop of folks who are seeing right through the usual games. And so we'll see where all this goes. And who could rise up to be a new majority leader if it's not McConnell? Is it John Thune? Is it Senator Cornyn of Texas? Is it Barrasso? Lindsey Graham? No, it's not going to be Lindsey. I mean, who knows? There's always this inside game to politics that the public doesn't often see. And I say more of it. We need to see more of how the sausage is made. We're already disgusted. You might as well teach us what's going on here, folks. Let the truth out. Again, 272-9228 if you want to call for whatever reason. But this is all being done in the backdrop again. Now, yeah, let's send more money to Israel and Ukraine if we're not even going to do the border thing. Again, the CBO just put out a massive projection. $20 trillion over the next 10 years. Driven by well-known structural factors, including aging population, rising healthcare costs, it happens when you age, mounting interest costs, and a tax system that doesn't fund the promises we've made. Interest costs have more than doubled in just the past 3 years, rising to more than $2 billion per day this year. And by next year, we'll spend more on interest than on defense and nearly all other national priorities. CBO projects the annual interest payments will total $1.6 trillion a decade from now and will continue to grow from there. It's especially concerning that the Social Security Trust Fund will be depleted within this same 10-year window, yet there is still no plan from Congress to strengthen this critical program for the future. Doing nothing to stabilize Social Security means an automatic, across-the-board cut of 23% for all beneficiaries. How can we continue to delay solutions and risk such an unfair outcome? Given these challenges, it's time to actually figure something the F out. Again, like these folks who are supposed to be our elders, our wise elders, I guess their wisdom extends to, well, don't break the stuff we've been doing forever because we don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah, experience can be the enemy of innovation. And Mitch McConnell has way too much damn experience to innovate anything. Same with Joe, same with Chuck. It seems their wisdom is, well, how do we milk the donor class and the American people, manipulate them at the same time in order to make sure this sort of hodgepodge of a system keeps running just smoothly, somewhat smoothly. I mean, we'll do emergency things if, say, the banking system melts down. We'll bail all those rich guys out. Oh, COVID that we helped taxpayer funding create in the lab. But, you know, we'll figure that out. And, we just created the worst inflation in generations. Well, we can figure that out. And by the way, I know we just ended that war in Afghanistan, but we need to fund a new one and then another one. And we might have to fight this wider war. And by the way, worry about Taiwan and China. The wheels are falling off. Take a breath. Enough. Stop pretending like you are the end of history. That this will last forever because it's morally right. That's how you lose it. You start resting on your laurels, you say, because we're morally right, God will bless us. And then you go behave and sin like everybody else, never living up to those standards. And yet you profess them all the same. Enough. Enough of these wars. Enough of the spending of other people's money. Enough of saddling generations yet born with a nightmare, not a dream. Enough. (272-9228). That's 272-9228. This is part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, well, fellas, two things affect most men as we mature. ED, erectile dysfunction, and low testosterone, low T. It's nothing to deny, put off, or be ashamed about. And it's not something to wait to get fixed. Yeah, guys, going to the doctor. But Montgomery Men's Health was created to take care of guys just like us. No motivation in your life, lacking energy, always tired, perhaps seeing unwanted weight gain, loss of muscle mass, even a decrease in your sex drive. Or maybe you feel like you're walking through life in a fog. Well, knowing whether you have low T is crucial to combating some of these issues. Now, you should get your T checked, your testosterone and PSA check, as part of your annual men's health routine. Urologists are even recommending getting testosterone checked even starting at the age of 18. It's stuff like this I didn't know until I talked to Montgomery Men's Health. A lot of guys suffer from low T and the symptoms associated with low T, don't even realize it, but it can affect quality of life big time. So why not check out Montgomery Men's Health today? The providers there will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And, well, they have treatments there if you do have low T that can truly change your life. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, might even notice an increased libido. You can actually book the same day that you call. Guys, it's time to feel amazing and hit your goals this year. That number for Montgomery Men's Health, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to montgomerymenshealth.com to book your appointment today. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that crazy guy on the radio, sent you. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
This is James.
Hey, James. How you doing?
Anyhow, I was listening earlier, and I just wanted to verify what I heard. It's something about the United Methodist Church. One of the churches is suing another church. I mean, the conference.
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to verify what church that was.
I don't know. Was this a show, I guess, before mine, Alabama Unfiltered, talking about this?
Well, it was on that little news clip thing that y'all cut to.
Here, how about this? I'll just find it, and we could play it again.
That will work for me.
Yeah, here, I'll play it again. Listen in.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, again, flying solo today, so I admit I'm not always paying attention to the commercial breaks. But here, we'll hit this break. We'll have some news again, and more news and views after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. The city of Montgomery continues to crack down on apartments with poor living conditions. A meeting with tenants from apartment complexes will be held today at the Montgomery City of Refuge Church at 5:30 p.m. to inform tenants of their rights and options. Members of the Alabama House Gaming Study Group revealed their plan for a comprehensive gambling plan on Wednesday. Lawmakers supporting the legislation presented the bill's key points at the Montgomery State House. The much-anticipated gaming legislation is scheduled to be introduced today. The 2 teenagers charged in the death of Michael Cole Jr. have been granted bond. Defendants Nicholas Shepard and Nevin Jones have admitted being involved in the shooting death of Michael Cole Jr. on January 25th. Both teenagers' bond was set at $750,000. The autopsy of Michael Cole Jr. is still pending. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group. Have you ever considered turning your home into a rental and build wealth at the same time? People throughout the river region are doing that right now. By investing wisely in the right property or turning your current home into a rental is the secret. Hiring a property manager to professionally manage your property is the way to prosperity. Our company does all of the advertising, personally showing prospective tenants, does a thorough background check and credit report before moving forward. Over 15 critical services are provided to our clients in protecting the asset, but also providing the best residence in your home possible. Collecting rent on time and frequent inspections help landlords feel better about renting their house, and to provide clean, well-kept homes that anybody would be proud to call home. For a complete list of property management services, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
The Montgomery Performing Arts Center presents Samantha Fish featuring Jesse Dayton.
Your kiss is like an earthquake. If she could, she would be still. But the story goes just like this.
Don't miss one of the most dynamic forces in the blues world today, Samantha Fish featuring Jesse Dayton, live Wednesday, February 14th at 7 p.m. Get your tickets now at the Impact Box Office or online at Ticketmaster.com.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, shifting gears here, away from politics, let's talk a little sports and media. ESPN, Fox, and Warner Brothers are putting together a juggernaut sports streaming app. Some of the biggest companies in sports broadcasting coming together could help fix sports streaming. Or maybe it's just the same old cable you're used to, repackaged as streaming. But Warner Brothers Discovery is preparing to launch a streaming service in partnership with ESPN, Disney, and Fox Sports. All three companies have agreed in principle to launch an as yet unnamed standalone app, of which they all share 1/3 ownership this fall, that streams a range of leagues and sports. It is poised to have sports networks including ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, SEC Nation, ACC Nation, ESPN News, ABC, Fox, FS1, FS2, TNT, TBS, True TV. You get the idea. The new service will air games from the NFL, MLB, NBA, and NHL, along with NASCAR, PGA Tour golf, Grand Slam tennis, and more. Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max users will also get the option to bundle the new service. The launch of this new streaming sports service is a significant moment for Disney and ESPN, a major win for sports fans, and an important step forward for the media business, said Bob Iger. How's it going, Bob? This means the full suite of ESPN channels will be available to consumers alongside the sports programming of other industry leaders as part of a differentiated sports-centric service. Now, sports streaming has become increasingly fractured as some leagues opt to continue airing games on traditional cable networks, while others have struck deals with streaming services. Last year, Warner Brothers Discovery Max service launched a live sports add-on for an extra $10 a month. Meanwhile, Amazon Prime Video has a deal to stream Thursday night football games, and Apple TV Plus offers subscribers a Major League Soccer season pass. Paramount Plus and NBC's Peacock also offer select live sports streams. Local blackouts due to regional sports streamers are another issue the combined app will have to deal with. Now, the Wall Street Journal had a follow-up on this, saying this decision by the media companies caught a lot of the official leagues off guard. They sort of blindsided them. with this decision. But it's funny how the streaming did offer a discount. I, a long time ago, cut the cable cord, just had internet, and used streaming services. But it seems like these streaming packages are becoming, when you put them all together, just as expensive as having, a big cable package. So we'll see where all that goes. But I know for a while that was the last reason people actually stuck with cable, was sports. And now, you can use something like YouTube TV if you like, which pretty much covers all your bases in that regard. But I don't know. Big money. It's become big money in this day and age. Now, moving on to a Florida story. A grand jury in Florida, they are, looking into a potential criminality during COVID. On December 13th, 2022, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis appointed a statewide grand jury to investigate whether crimes or wrongdoing were committed against Floridians regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. The information below highlights a lot of the key findings of the grand jury in their initial presentment. However, without going into much detail regarding what the jury said before they released their preliminary findings, to sum it up, they realized that in order to investigate the true nature of whether or not a crime was committed regarding the vaccine, they had to look into the rest of what happened. The question remains whether or not they will find the initial mandates, manufacturing, clinical trials, etc., violate its laws or statutes. Then whether they will continue past the initial recommendations through the continuation of the program today. Do they find that continuing to recommend these shots with the breadth of knowledge they have had on hand is criminal in nature given the risk? Do they find that people blatantly ignored information available to continue to push the shots even after knowing the harm they caused? So this is very early. It's still a preliminary phase. But if these companies and other institutions were essentially pushing these vaccines and knowing, not like they kind of turn a blind eye, but they knew this could cause some problem, does this rise to the level of a crime that could go around some of the other liability protections they might have? So, I mean, we'll see where it goes, but Florida continues to be the state that is a thorn in the side of so much of the COVID regime. And it's one of the great things Ron DeSantis has done his time as governor there in Florida and the staff he's put around him, especially in the health departments, but it's not going away. Unfortunately, Ron, I think, lost a lot of standing in his run for president. We can all forgive and forget. I think he'll be all right going forward. I'm sure Trump and him will kiss and make up in public or something like that. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Before we hit this break, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And they have a big fun thing happening tonight. Join Dillon Rings for an exclusive Facebook Live event showcasing their stunning new arrivals of jewelry. Get a first look at our latest collection. Snag your favorites before anyone else. So it's tonight on Dillon Rings' Facebook page at 6 o'clock our time, 7 p.m. Eastern. But on Dillon Rings' Facebook page, you can see all the new arrivals, all the new jewelry styles they have now in stock, as well as some amazing deals they have coming up for Valentine's Day. Gentlemen, do not forget Valentine's Day. And a great way to shop for your ladies is stop by Dillon Rings, have Josh and Leslie Ryder. We'll give you advice on what you should do. It could be you buy something that's currently in stock. Hey, talk to them about sort of a customized Valentine's Day surprise. That might be a great way to go depending on the lady in your life. But here's the deal. They're a full-service shop there at Dillon Rings. And Josh and Leslie Ryder are easy to work with, and they can help you with, of course, that selection there. What's the right gift, say, for Valentine's Day? But or it could be like a spa treatment, a cleaning, appraisals, repairs. They really do it all. there at Dillon Rings. Not to mention that custom design work that is second to none. So check them out today. You can always go to DillonRings.com. That's DillonRings.com, or give them a call at 215-3669. And again, don't forget about this Facebook Live event happening tonight, 6 o'clock our time. You can be in early on the first look at the latest collection and actually snag some of your favorites before anyone else by tuning in. And I always encourage you to stop by 119 Brown Springs Road right here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie Ryder that, well, Joey from News and Views in the Afternoon sent you. More News and Views after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Don't settle for what Uncle Sam wants to give you. Get to Toyota of Montgomery today, where we'll double your tax refund. This month only, Toyota of Montgomery will double your money. If you have a $1,000 refund, we'll double it to $2,000. $2,000 is now $4,000. $5,000 is now up to $10,000. It gets even better because Toyota of Montgomery has incredible incentives on our new inventory, like the new 2024 Toyota Camry LE, now only $299 a month, or the best-selling new 2024 RAV4 LE. It's only $349 a month. That's double your refund money up to $10,000 plus save on new Toyotas and more for your trade. Get to Toyota of Montgomery online at toyotamontgomery.com. Part of the Sutherland Automotive Group. Dealer will match tax refund up to $5,000 with dealer discount off TSRP. Example, 2024 Toyota Sequoia Hybrid Capstone 4-wheel drive in-transit vehicle. TSRP $84,172. Camry MSRP $30,958. RAV4 MSRP $28,214. 12,000 miles per year for 39 months with 3638 due at signing. $0 security deposit with approved credit on sealed new Toyota purchases. Select new Toyota purchases plus taxes, tag, title, and $999. Offers end 2/29/2024.
Hey folks, this is Tammy Burkhalter at Prattville Farm Center, and did you know there's all kind of dogs that we can feed? Like leave a dog, hot dog, creek dog, swimming dog, hunting dog, shaggy dog, lap dog, window dog, riding dog, hiding dogs, puppy dog, standing dog, hat dog, cozy dog, family dog, even a dancing dog, man. So come see us at 1154 South Memorial Drive in Prattville, and we can even feed your kitty cat too.
Honey?
Yeah?
Do you think it's safe using all these extension cords?
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Actually, too many extension cords can be dangerous. Call Crosby Electric to add new outlets.
Sure is dark in our yard.
Good. We'll sleep better.
Maybe you will.
Crosby Electric does landscaping lighting for beauty and safety, as well as security lighting for peace of mind.
Oh, darn. The vacuum cleaner just tripped a breaker.
Honey, never vacuum while I'm making popcorn.
Tripping breakers can indicate a potential fire hazard. You really should have it checked out by Crosby Electric, serving the river region for almost 50 years.
Sweetheart, are you ever afraid that lightning could damage our electrical system?
Afraid? Come on. No. Maybe we should call Crosby. You know, just give him a call.
Whole house surge protection can protect you and your possessions. For an assessment and for all your electrical needs, call Crosby Electric 272-2085 or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
We've got another good day in progress. Extensive high clouds will lead to limited sunshine today, but still dry, still mild. High temperature in the mid-60s again. Not as cool tonight, overnight low 51. Tomorrow, high temperature up to about 73 with mostly cloudy skies. Still dry Friday, but for Saturday and Sunday, periods of showers and thunderstorms, locally heavy downpours at times. 72 on Saturday for a high, near 70 on Sunday. And I still think the main event will be Sunday night into early Monday with showers and storms. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
ASE Credit Union makes auto loans easy with rates as low as 4.75% APR. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union, your life, your goals, your ASE.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. That's 272-9228. But hold your horses because we got a great guest on the phone line already. We have the one, the only, Jeff Deist. He is right now general counsel for Monetary Metals, and long time was the president of the Mises Institute forever, staffer and chief of staff for then Congressman Ron Paul. He's worn many hats, and I always enjoy talking to him. Jeff, how you doing this afternoon?
Joey, you forgot to say Alabama man.
You are an Alabama man now.
I am. I have been for 10 years.
No, when did it go from you being a California boy to like an Alabama man?
Well, I have to tell you, I'm not really an Alabama man. I'm just an honorary one. But it's just like a religious convert. Sometimes the recent convert is the more zealous advocate, the intolerable person. So that's me.
Well, and given you're a citizen of this great state, I don't know how much you've been following or learned about the history, but ever since I've been looking at Alabama politics, gambling has constantly come up. What are we going to do with gaming in the state? I don't know if you had a chance to see what they just put out this week. They're trying to get this done, but before I bring up any details of that bill, what's your general sense of gaming in this state and across the country, like the legalization of full-on gambling?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I wouldn't want it outlawed, but, much like people who eat too much, drink too much, consume too much social media, I think it's scary, and in part because you can have all the gambling you want in the privacy of your bedroom with a mobile phone. You no longer need to go to a casino. You no longer need to go to a bingo parlor or an Indian reservation or an offshore steamboat or anything like that. And I'm not sure it can be stopped, but I have an 18-year-old son, and I know how much him and his buddies like to talk about college football, for example. And I'm sure that it wouldn't take much for that to translate into them placing bets on their phones. And it doesn't take much to get people into a really bad situation where they're gambling money they don't have. So, I think that this is just age and fatherhood mellowing me. If you had asked me 20 years ago, I said, oh, it's great. What's the harm? But, I think we have to be honest with ourselves and say, when we're talking about anything that involves economics, there are trade-offs. And so I don't love it as a cultural and social matter, but I wouldn't try to prevent it as a legal or political matter.
Yeah, my one concern, in principle, I think people should be allowed to do anything they like, even addictive games of chance, even if it does have bad effects. That said, I do worry a little bit about the cronyism in this state. It's always sort of a horse trading state, and it looks like one aspect of this bill is like all a lot of the big players that are already operating in this gray legal area or outright illegal, according to a lot of officials in the state. They're being grandfathered in as they're going to legalize this and create an open bid process. So it makes me wonder, who's getting paid behind the scenes, so to speak. And that just is an ugly part of any political process. But it could create a political piggy bank that really dominates the state. And I'm very concerned about it.
Well, and also you have long-standing large interests in Las Vegas, in Atlantic City, in some of the other gambling meccas. Obviously, there's the huge one in China where Steve Wynn is established. And these are pretty deep pockets that some of the Indian tribes, not just in Alabama, but in other states, have really enjoyed, at least amongst those tribes, a monopoly over that in the state. And so, it's definitely a threat politically to them as well, because they won't be the only game in town.
Yeah, and another bill that I was talking about, all these bills are being pre-filed. One that I never thought we would have to talk about, but it's where technology's gone. It's to add to the, say, anti-child porn, sex offender laws that are on the books. Have you heard of these AI deepfakes? And apparently it came out of an incident, one school in Alabama, where they're taking photos of young women and putting them into these AI programs that look like, and these are teenagers, they're doing sex acts, and they want to add that to kind of the laws defending children. In principle, I would agree with that, but it's like, what's next? It seems like we're getting to a point where politics ain't the answer to a lot of our problems. Like, this is just evil.
Right. At some point, you have to say, why would anyone want to do that? The AI stuff is going to make even video deepfakes. I mean, voice deepfakes. Pretty soon, you're going to be able to have or I shouldn't say pretty soon. Already, you have the ability to take a person and take a video that is them speaking and put it in their voice. Let's say in a different language. You're going to be able to have quotes from people. You're going to be able to put people in compromising, like you mentioned, sexual positions or something like that. So, what it's going to do is create a whole new level of distrust, I think, in any sort of media and also in the political class. I mean, what is it going to mean when you say we have videotape of an official taking a bribe? Right. I mean, if we keep going the way we're going right now, in another 5 or 10 years, we're going to be able to manufacture a video of an official taking a bribe that looks 100% real.
Well, and it always begins, I think, with some of the good use cases. I know a personal friend who, let's say, lost his ability to speak, and using old recordings we did recreate his voice. And it's amazing. So he could give, say, a toast at a kid's wedding. Through that voice technology. That's the really cool stuff. But you're right. It adds, we already have a distrust problem. And then on top of that, you can't even believe your own eyes and ears at a certain point. Maybe is it just there's so much scandal always that people just get numb to it? It seems like we're already there.
Yeah, it is changing in the sense that, Donald Trump, all of his personal foibles were ignored by voters. RFK Jr. is pretty open about the fact that he was, he's been married 3 times and he had a lot of sexual affairs over his lifetime. And presumably there's at least a few women in his past that maybe are disgruntled or whatever it might be. So I think we are going to become sort of scandal weary because as the white noise overwhelms us, we have to just sort of cut through that, ignore what we choose to ignore, and figure out what's important. And so it's a bit of an arms race, but the kind of thing that used to sink a presidential candidate, like people don't remember this, but on the eve of George W. Bush's election, there was a leak about a DUI he had had, and the public was not aware of that prior. So at that time, that was considered, oh my gosh, this isn't, obviously something that the Democrats kept to the 11th hour. This is potentially fatal. This is, an earth-shaking revelation about a criminal conviction that he had tried to cover up, or at least, dismiss and not bring to public attention. And yet, fast forward to today, 24 years later, thereabouts, if we found out a candidate we were considering had a DUI in the past, that sounds almost kind of quaint or something today. It's almost kind of like, well, okay, compared to all these other things, and maybe you're not so terrible. So it's I don't know. It's going to create a whole new type of gotcha, I think, which is almost going to be a reverse gotcha where we're going after people who are fabricating this stuff.
Yeah, and shifting gears, and again, we're talking to Jeff Deist, and as I mentioned earlier, Jeff, you spent some time on the Hill. Do you think I'm right? Because when I saw this package come together, the funding for Ukraine, funding for Israel, a border security bill that doesn't really secure squat, and a lot of money, over $100 billion. To me, this was almost designed to fail, to give everybody their respective position and talking points. I think McConnell kind of worked hand in hand and gave a gift to his old buddies in the Senate, Chuck and in particular Joe, on this. But do you think Washington designs big packages on purpose to fail, and so it plays into their PR election strategies?
Well, if anything, it plays into Biden's election strategy, because he can say, the people are complaining about all these troubles on the border. We had a proposal, we had a compromise, and the MAGA Republicans shot it down. So that's his talking point. But yeah, I think that's true. But things are so different than even 20 years ago. What used to be a deal in Congress was a deal, and the party leadership had a lot more power over the recalcitrant mavericks people, and there weren't very many of them. There were people like Ron Paul or a few others at the time. But now you have these constituencies, like an AOC or Marjorie Taylor Greene or a Matt Gaetz, and they really don't answer nearly as much to party leadership as they used to, because now they have, through social media, they can create their own national constituency. And it's almost like they begin to answer more to that constituency, their fans and their funders, as opposed to leadership or even their own districts, or, the voters in their own districts. The AOC is very much a national phenomenon, and progressives across the country support her and give her lots of money. Her district itself, I guess it's Queens, a portion of Queens, is almost an afterthought. Does she really represent Queens, or does she represent this broader AOC constituency? So someone like that is able to, develop a base of influence that leadership doesn't have the same power over. So I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be a member of Congress today, because the scrutiny on them, the ability through the internet to see every last vote, and this gotcha scandal type world we live in, where you could think every personal relationship you had in the past could be scrutinized. It's we have to think about how bad politics is and who's going to go into it as a result.
Well, and that brings me to something you wrote up at length on the X platform, Twitter, and folks, I encourage you to follow Jeff at Jeff Deist. And it's something that I think you and I just simply fundamentally agree on. And it's that politics, and the more politics drives society, that our society becomes a function of our political process, the fight over power, the worse off we are. It's disastrous on so many levels. So let's get into that a little bit, because I also agree with you so much that liberty isn't all these different political definitions. It's really the absence of politics. And when liberty breathes, you're actually dealing with folks on, say, a civilized basis, not seeing them as a pawn to move or somebody to defeat.
Sure, we used to understand that there are vast swaths of American life that exist outside of politics. And we all understand that there has to be a federal government to deal with things like currency and national borders and military and certain national issues, and that we have state and local governments to deal with things like potholes and schools and roads and bridges. But we didn't have this sense that everything had to be viewed through a political framework. And you can just go back and ask your grandparents, and I've mentioned this before, it wasn't all that long ago that, people might have a portrait of JFK over their fireplace because he was president, and they might have his picture in the kitchen or something like that. And although we had deep divisions in this country over things like FDR, he was very controversial. Nixon was very controversial. You didn't have quite the same death match you had between, say, Trump versus Hillary Clinton. And so today, Trump supporters versus Trump detractors, people took both sides on COVID. That was, a virus, a cold flu virus was highly politicized. And, we had marriages break up. We had people estranged from their friends and family, and I think that is new. I think that the severity of that, the degree of that, is definitely something different from when I was a kid.
Yeah, and I don't see an easy way out of this, other than continue to speak the truth, try to treat people on a civilized basis, maybe with something called Christian love, and then treat your neighbors accordingly. I say it all the time, especially when things get really heated. Your neighbor is not your enemy. I mean, unless you're Rand Paul. But your neighbor is not your enemy. And stop letting these predators that run the media, that run the political process, manipulate you in that way. But other than folks taking personal responsibility, kind of waking up, I don't see a political solution necessarily. Like one side's going to win. I don't see that in the near future.
Well, social media takes us out of our immediate environment, and the nationalization of politics, the idea that we all have to worry so much about president or foreign policy or things happening, global warming, and the war in Ukraine, all these things so far removed from our actual physical environment that I think it wasn't that long ago, maybe 30 years ago, 50 years ago, that you would have prominent people in your community, in Montgomery, for example, who were wealthy, who had been successful in business or in law or in medicine or something, and that they would be perhaps involved in local politics. They would be local benefactors in the sense that they would, we say give back to your community, which means they would support Little League. They would support local hospitals, local museums, something like that, local charities, food banks. But today it almost seems like we're all forced into this prism where everything's nationalized, and what difference does it make if you support your local art museum? Because if Trump wins, it's going to be a dictatorship. And this kind of winner take all in Washington thinking, I think, has really hurt local communities. And if there's any way out of this, I would say it's that we all have to get a lot more local.
Amen. And on that note, let you go. If folks want to follow what you're writing about, thinking about, how can they do so, Joe?
Well, I work for a company called Monetary Metals. It's just monetary-metals.com. We're a precious metals lending and leasing company, and follow me there or right here on Twitter.
Well, I appreciate it as always. Talk again soon. Thank you, Jeff.
Hope you're feeling better, Joey. Take care.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there, folks, slowly but sure. A lot better than I was Saturday and Sunday. A heck of a lot better. But we do have to hit this quick break. Hopefully we'll have Michael Cohen on the other side of the break. Y'all stay tuned.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
It's time to show your sweetheart how much you care with a Jenny Lynn's floral creation for Valentine's Day. Skip the grocery store flowers and make one quick call, 285-1000. Roses, lilies, beautiful bouquets, and gift baskets designed just for your sweetie. Call Jenny Lynn's Creations, 285-1000.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1, WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back, folks. On the line, we now have Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Michael, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing wonderful. How are y'all?
We're doing all right, and I'll tell the audience I was there at Cohen's this morning, 2515 Eastern Boulevard, folks, right there on the boulevard, where they've always been. And I have to say, I have to get one of those captain chairs. And let's remind folks of what I'm talking about. But I would just encourage folks, before we say a word, go by Cohen's on the bypass. Go put your butt in one of these chairs. You're going to be just like me wanting to get one.
Well, yeah, because they're super cool. They take up hardly any space. They come with a cool little ottoman. They recline. And they seem like between both of them, it seems like they fit everybody.
There you go. And it comes in all different sorts of colors, and so people have those sorts of preferences. But with the current scheme, y'all can make that work.
That's right. That's right. They are wonderful chairs made by Palliser.
Now, I want to remind folks of the legacy. So we're now at 65 plus years with Cohen?
That's correct.
So this goes all the way back to, like, it was called the Record Stop?
Record Shop.
Record Shop.
Were, my dad, he started it downtown, but very quickly moved to Normandale. And that's back when Normandale was probably the coolest open-air arcade in the Southeast, because he would tell me stories about how people flew in from all over the country. But back then he started in probably a 10 by 15 store, and he quickly took over the store beside him. But back then you could come in and listen to records on record players that had headphones attached to them. So they had like 6 or 8 booths, and that was a big deal back in the 50s to come in there and listen to the record before you bought it.
There you
go. It didn't take them long to realize they could seal them up, and then you had to buy it whether you liked it or not. But anyway, and he gradually grew, and then we moved to the other side of the Normandale, and we were there until 1977, until we built this building and moved out to the bypass.
2515 Eastern Boulevard, folks. And of course, you can always go to thinkcohens.com, kind of eye what you want, shop at what they have on offer there on the website, thinkcohens.com. But when you stop by the boulevard where they've been for all these years now, you're going to enjoy it. Looking at those great products, and they've got great folks ready to help you out and deliver not just a good product, but confidence as well. Y'all are open 9 to 6 today, right?
9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. You know, the best thing to do is to come by, but, you know, that way you can ask us questions, we can ask you questions and help steer you to the right choice for whatever your needs or home is.
Well, I appreciate the time as always, Michael. We'll talk again tomorrow.
All right. Thanks for calling. Take care.
Thank you. 272-9228. Is that ready to be tested? You want to test that? Yeah.
I was going to wait till you go to a break and then we're going to...
No, let's do it live. Do it live!
I didn't know if you wanted to. But, I mean, yeah, I'd like to.
Yeah, let's try this here. It might make an awful sound, folks, but we're testing out one of the mics.
What? I don't even know where you want me to go.
This one.
Is it... It's turned up. Whoop, okay.
It's really loud.
It's very hot.
I have it like barely up.
Okay. So we got to fix that.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it's coming off of. But okay. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. More news and views. Final hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
Well, that's RN News. I'm John Scott. In today's hearing, the U.S. Supreme Court appeared generally skeptical about Colorado's argument to keep Donald Trump off the Colorado ballot. A definitive ruling for the former president would largely end efforts in Colorado, Maine, and elsewhere to prevent his name from appearing on the ballot. The court has signaled it will try to act quickly. Today is the Nevada caucus, which the former president is expected to win. That state's 26 delegates. In consumer news, the FCC is outlining robocalls that contain voices generated by artificial intelligence. And that decision sends a clear message that exploiting the technology to scam people and mislead voters won't be tolerated. The Dow is down 5 points, but the Nasdaq ahead 24. This is SRN News.
The new FedNow system is paving the way for the digital dollar. It grants the government unprecedented access to your financial transactions. This isn't just an invasion of privacy. It's a direct assault on your liberty and hard-earned money. It's another reason why I recommend physical gold IRAs from the Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnow. I'm a news analyst and a podcaster with nearly 25 million downloads to people just like you who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Big Brother while also preserving your retirement savings through almost anything, including economic crashes, political instability, and even hyperinflation. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. Remember, there's no strings attached. Text FAITH to the number 989898 right now, and I pray you're blessed with continued prosperity.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Truckers, if you are looking for green grass, contact Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. In business since 1959 and still growing. Call today, 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather.
We've got another good day in progress. Extensive high clouds will lead to limited sunshine today, but still dry, still mild. High temperature in the mid-60s again. Not as cool tonight, overnight low 51. Tomorrow, high temperature up to about 73 with mostly cloudy skies. Still dry Friday, but for Saturday and Sunday, periods of showers and thunderstorms, locally heavy downpours at times. 72 on Saturday for a high, near 70 on Sunday. And I still think the main event will be Sunday night into early Monday with showers and storms. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. We can't say thank you enough to every one of you who have made Capital Tractor one of the largest Kubota dealers in the U.S. It's because of you. We're honored, we're humbled, we're grateful. Kubota and Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
1819 News.
The anti-ballot harvesting bill has passed out of the Committee on Governmental Affairs within the Alabama Senate. The bill would make it a Class C felony for a third party to be paid or gifted in order to distribute, order, collect, complete, or obtain a voter's absentee ballot application. The only exemption would be for those within the U.S. military who vote by absentee ballots overseas. Voters who need help here in the state in filling out their absentee ballot due to blindness or disability or some other problem may get assistance from a person of their own choosing. However, it cannot be that person's employer or an agent from that person's union. The bill is likely to be considered on the full Senate floor sometime next week. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
A jury in Mobile County finds a man guilty of reckless murder. 48-year-old Harvey Caffey Jr. was charged with driving under the influence of alcohol back in 2020. Caffey struck another vehicle on Highway 90, killing 24-year-old Kenneth Rudolph. WKRG News reports that the Mobile County Assistant District Attorney presented to the jury that Caffey had previous DUIs from the state of Ohio and was using his cell phone at the time of the Alabama wreck. At Troy University, a program to reduce DUIs there has just launched. Choose Your Ride program is designed to keep university students safe by giving them further access to the Troy University Police Department for a free ride home rather than getting behind the wheel while impaired. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Conservative Justice Sarah Stewart has the experience to lead Alabama's courts. As a tough-on-crime judge, Sarah Stewart presided over hundreds of cases, giving tough sentences to the worst criminals. Republicans can trust Justice Sarah Stewart to defend the Constitution and protect our families. On March 5th, vote conservative Republican Sarah Stewart for Alabama Chief Justice. Paid for by Sarah Stewart Campaign, 2029B, Airport Boulevard, Mobile, Alabama, 36606.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back, folks, and we're still doing tests. We're testing things. We're trying things out here.
Let me guess, we've gone to the other side.
Yeah. Now it's like
extremely low.
I can hear you, but there's
Well, how high do you have to go?
I've got it about where I usually put my mic here.
Okay, now I hear that sounds really good. I can hear
like a fuzz,
a little bit of fuzz. Oh, that's a little high. A little bit of fuzz. I can hear a little bit of the air.
Yeah, here and there too. I'm wondering if we have a right vocal gate.
But it sounds better than it did. It's going to take a lot of adjusting as we go through this to figure this out as we go. And ladies and gentlemen, we have to do this because the only time we can test this is basically now
on the air. Did you see the whole thing about the streaming services? Like where they're going to do the big sports package?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, like all these massive companies, Disney and Discovery, Universal, like Warner Brothers, they're all going to create this one package where you watch NBA, NFL, and it caught all the major leagues blindsided them. Caught them by surprise, too.
Yeah, because they're going to want to cut.
What happens to us chumps that can't get streaming because it's about the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, that's the problem. And I guess some you can still get it with a digital
You
antenna.
buy your cable and you be happy about it.
All you can get is DirecTV.
Well, what I'm worried about is the streaming's just turning into like buying a cable package.
Oh, yeah.
now. Everything's going up.
Yeah, it's been like that forever.
Because Netflix is what, $20, something like that now if you want the 4K stuff. And
They used to be. They all used to be the. I'm going over there because it's easier to deal with. It's cheaper. I don't have to pay. I'm not paying all these fees with cable.
Right.
Basically, at this point, you kind of want cable back. You could get it cheaper and still get so many different channels.
Yeah, and I don't know. I go through phases to where I'll just shut off one, jump to it. Like I've gone through a Star Trek phase recently. So you got Paramount Plus for a second.
Yeah, totally.
And the best one, Max works very well. Disney Plus works well, but I haven't looked at Disney in forever. I've kind of lost my interest in their product.
Yeah, it's been a while for me. Is he making adjustments over there?
Yeah, I think so.
How's it sound? I mean, it sounds pretty good. I would say it sounds better. It's a little
hot.
Yeah. Somebody's going to come in and blow this thing away.
Yeah, and there's almost like there's an air sound on it too, like a crisp kind of in the background.
Yeah, there's a hiss. There's a hiss. This sounds pretty good. A little bit, a little hot there, but still sounds like you're making progress.
Yeah.
I just have to keep talking so that I can hear myself. And I think you're pretty good. No. I think we're good. I think we're good here.
Yeah.
Because you can then make adjustments on the board there with how high or low you want me to go. And I think we're okay.
Yeah, that's really low on the board, though.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's.
I can't see from this angle where it is.
I'm like above the first bar there.
What's the metering say?
Yeah. Keep talking, Jay. We're gonna check
Okay,
in.
I'm going to talk for a minute and let you know how things are going in my world as they test on these things. I did listen, just to stick with the theme of politics, I did listen to that, the oral arguments.
Oh, yeah.
I'd never heard it, but that's...
Here, you want the headphones?
No.
You don't? Okay.
I didn't, I guess I still need to talk. It sounds, on my end, it sounds like I'm really hot.
Yeah.
Or adjust your headset.
Well, in the main one, it sounds pretty hot still, too.
I was going to say, I don't think the headset's going to have anything to do with the overmodulation.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. But you were watching oral arguments?
I wasn't watching it. I was listening to the oral arguments.
Yeah.
You couldn't watch, there was no video in the Supreme Court. There was just the audio.
And this was over the 14th Amendment Colorado case, I believe.
The Colorado case is what this was. So I was listening to that. It's not often you kind of get to listen to these sort of things, and not often that you get to listen to something that is never been discussed before, in a sense,
Right. Well, and some of the take was that some of the justices didn't seem too impressed by this argument. I don't know. I don't think it's as self-enforcing as they wanted it to be. The whole idea of we know if somebody committed insurrection.
Mm-hmm.
I think you actually have to show that.
I was really impressed with the representative from Colorado who was giving her argument for it. He was very, very knowledgeable, succinct. I mean, it was really, really good. Not that I agree with any of it. I just thought the presentation that she gave was great, but I don't think any of the justices are having it. I think it's just going to be one of those things where it's like, look, it's fine. He's on the ballot. That's it. You're not going to be, and this is, it's a lot like what I think what they were doing here with the abortion ban, where they ruled it unconstitutional, but the Supreme Court said, look, it's not going to stick.
Right.
It's always going to be shut down. I think it's the same way here. Colorado said, hey, you're not going to be on the ballot, but this is not going to stick. We know it's going to get shot down.
Well, and at this point, I think this year is going to be, unprecedented. It continues to be. And it's funny, you cut it. You cut a lot of the replays. When I have Judge Knapp on, he's pretty saying Trump should take this pretty seriously. The one case where he's like, no, I think it's kind of absurd is the 14th Amendment stuff.
Yeah.
They can't just unilaterally take somebody off because you think they're an insurrectionist.
No. It's not that part, obviously. The other cases, we're still waiting on the New York business stuff.
Right.
He hasn't done a ruling on that because he was going back with Weisselberg, with their situation with, what was it? The guy who perjured.
Oh, Michael Cohen?
No, not Cohen.
That guy.
Is it Weisselberg?
Yeah,
is that
Weisselberg's
the guy
one.
who perjury? He admitted to committing perjury.
Oh, yeah, the financial officer for
Yeah.
Trump. Yeah.
And that was key. And he was waiting on hearing something back from the representatives about that, but still waiting on his ruling, which I think we're supposed to get probably next week.
Well, and then like the Fannie Willis.
And it's not his ruling, it's his, like, here's how much you've got to pay.
Yeah, the actual amount, the summary amount. Yeah.
Yes.
Though, like the $83 million in the E. Jean Carroll case, I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot. And then he just kept.
Yeah, he kept going. I don't buy her story, but he would not shut up.
He wouldn't.
No.
I mean, he proved it over and over again that he was defaming her, whatever the thing was that he was going after there. He kept doing it. Although, strictly on the outside of this thing, I feel like that the more he egged it on, and the more the courts push back on him, it's ammo for him.
Yes,
it's in his betterment,
right?
That he gets these restrictions and all this flack thrown on him, because then he can, hey, that sounds really good. Whatever you just did
sounds good.
The hiss went away.
Yeah, he's got the headphones. Okay, the hiss went away. Good.
That hiss went away completely.
But well, it's
sorry, I didn't mean to. But my thing was, I think it's ammo for him. I think he can use that to get votes out of it and to.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is that everybody's trying to go, who's playing 4D chess here? Is it Trump? Is it the establishment? I'm like, no, I think it's much simpler than that. I think everybody knows what the other side is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a, 4th and goal. You're on the 1 yard line. You line up. Y'all line up. Let's have it out. Who's got the stronger push?
That sounds really good now.
That does sound fantastic.
Sounds really, really good now, man. Whatever you did great, and I think you nailed it there. So,
that sounds beautiful.
I know. I think we're good. Yeah,
this room is haunted.
Just put that glass up. Make sure nobody touches it. But I think we're good on this, and I think Trump knows what he's doing in that regard. Although his lawyers in that E. Jean Carroll case, horrible.
That's what Knapp told me. They were not good.
He agreed.
At all.
He agreed with that. Okay, good.
Yeah,
I feel good being on his side in that regard because look, I'm not a lawyer, as they say. INAL. I'm not a lawyer.
Well, I think
but that sounded really bad coming from his camp.
I think where this goes is you actually don't get a full decision from any court of substance to like take Trump off the ballot.
Oh no, never.
And so it's really the jury is going to be the American people.
Yeah.
Come this November.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And you're right. It's hard. As soon as they started indicting him, like I had one, when Trump first announced after the midterms, those miserable midterms for the Republicans, he looked tired when he announced from Mar-a-Lago, and it was a bad camera shots. He just didn't look himself.
Crowd wasn't there.
Right.
Not like it's been.
And
it's a little strange.
As soon as he got indicted, and especially after he was processed by Fannie Willis in the Georgia case.
Oh, the mugshot? Yeah.
It's the first post he put back on Twitter for the first time in years. I'm like, okay. Yeah, there's no way DeSantis, Haley, anybody's taking him out. Like,
did you catch Curb Your Enthusiasm this Sunday?
No, I need to. I love that show.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I can't watch Seinfeld anymore. I want Curb. Curb is my favorite.
It's just there's an ending shot.
Okay.
In this particular episode that has to do with Trump.
Well, it's an older episode, right, where he starts wearing a MAGA hat. Larry David starts wearing a MAGA hat just to get people to leave him alone.
And they do. They all like, hey man, yeah.
No, in certain parts of the world, that's like you're ready to fight if you're wearing a MAGA hat. Around here, everybody's kind of like, "Hey, man, how you doing?"
Yeah, no, they parody the mugshot.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
I got to check that out.
In fact, he goes to Atlanta and he gets arrested. Anyway, that's it. This mic works, and I appreciate your audience.
Thank you.
Dealing with the testing, I really appreciate you guys being
and I was lonely, so thank you.
Well, no, you're fine. I've got work to go do.
Okay, good luck.
Again.
See you. Thanks, Jay. Let's go to line 1 here. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, I just wanted to say I've been watching the court.
Mm-hmm.
It's on TV. I've been listening to them and all. And I'm just saying, on the court, if Colorado can take somebody off their ballot, can't Alabama take somebody off their ballot?
Yeah, and that's where it would go with all this. But I appreciate the call, Robert. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Soldier Boy, waiting patiently.
Thank you for that. How you doing?
Okay. 3 talking points. First talking point. Super Bowl. Not going to watch it. Tired of it. Don't want to hear anything more about it. Simple reason. Did you see what the $1 million+ for the booths up there? I guess the private clubs and everything in the stadium.
No, we don't keep going about that.
Yeah, they're over $1 million and plus. And Kelsey's wife, mother said, "Oh, we can't afford that. I'll be sitting with the regular folks." And the guy said, "Oh, you're going to be sitting with the minions?" And here's my whole question about it. It's gotten to the point where the Super Bowl is just for the rich people to go watch it. Me and you, Joey, couldn't afford a damn ticket if we wanted to.
Oh, no, yeah. Well, and it becomes an event that's about more than just football. It's a status thing.
It's a status thing, exactly. I mean, half of them are talking and drinking, and the damn game's going on. I was like, how about shut the hell up, and let's watch the game.
Well, and did you see the guy climbing the orb, the big...
Oh, yeah.
Goodness gracious.
I'm still not drinking Bud Light anyway. That's number 2 thing. I'm not drinking Bud Light. It's a nasty beer in the first place. It was nasty a beer when Muldaney, whatever her name is.
But didn't Trump come out just recently and say, y'all give him a chance?
Trump's being a little softer now. Come on now.
Folks, excuse me. Folks, everybody's got a little gay in them. Have a Bud Light.
Yeah. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the trial going on right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every one of those that vote against, in favor of keeping them off, on the court. I'm going to their house and I'm going to protest 24/7 with some loud equipment. Because I guess it's not against the law to do that, right? That's just an example of my what? Free speech?
Yeah, I guess it depends on...
no.
It depends on what political beliefs you have.
Oh, you mean what way the political wind's blowing?
Yeah, and what community you live in.
Well, I had to put my tongue... Let me wet my finger out and put it up in the air out of my window here in my car and see which way the wind's blowing on that.
I'm just saying, if you do, you cause some ruckus in Oakland, I don't think you're going to do well.
Yeah, well, next thing I want to talk about real quick, going on, I got to stay on schedule because you know me, I will get off schedule. I know. At least I admit it. Here's the thing is, when is Eddie going to be back?
Maybe tomorrow. I think he's...
Okay, well, I got to go to work tomorrow. Sorry, unfortunately, I can't sneak across the border and get some free debit cards, like they do in New York State. Here's my question is, what the hell is going on at the union out there trying to form out there at the Hyundai plant?
Oh, that's a
Why is it quiet?
No, we talked about it in pretty good detail last week, especially Eddie's own experiences, and Craig Monger worked as a temp out there too.
I wish I would have heard that one.
So we got it, but we're going to have a guest on talking about who's against the unionization on Monday, and also we're probably going to interview somebody from the UAW, and we'll hear from local.
I would love to be on that. I'd love to go against that UAW. Here's the strange thing about it. Okay. Marysville, Ohio is a Honda motor plant. Okay, They don't have a union. Why do we have unions? Well, usually you have a union to so-called represent you and get you things that you've been asking for and don't have. So, for example, in Marysville, Ohio, do you know they got a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week daycare center for single parents?
Wow!
On the plant site.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, and then they got a doctor, a PA, and a nurse on site 24/7 for anything, common that you don't have to go to a doctor's appointment for wait hours, and take time off and everything. So you can have lunch with your child at the plant, man, if you're a single parent. I think that's the greatest thing ever. And then they have other things, too, that cafeterias. They pay for their breakfast, their lunch, and their dinner. They have a cafeteria. It's paid for. So you see all this little stuff they give up. Why would you want to go and join a union and pay dues and go on strike and live off pennies?
Well, I mean, if you're really satisfied with your working conditions, you probably don't want a union. But there might be, again, we'll have to get the folks back on who actually have worked out there at Hyundai. I've heard some stuff that...
here's my question is, what is that? I'd like to listen to that, too, even if it's going to be recorded. But because I'd like to see exactly what do they want. Is it just money? Usually it's not always just money.
No, I think it's certain, certain standards when it comes to work hours, certain standards when it comes to safety. Yeah, there's
well, OSHA. Well, let's call OSHA out, okay?
right. Well, this is what you're now playing my part. Is what I was asking Eddie. Doesn't OSHA handle it? And he goes, no, they find ways around it.
Well, here's the interesting thing about that is, okay, a couple friends of mine work out there, and they said, you know what, man, if you mention Soldier Boy, mention the word union out of your mouth, okay,
right,
they'd find a reason to let you go.
Right.
As soon as 4 or 5 of you get together, they can tackle you. But now they've got 30 to 40% of the workers signed up for UA. Man, you got leverage now, boys and girls.
Well, and this has been attempted before, and it hasn't succeeded. So,
why
see.
is that, Joey? Because they've let them go, fired, gotta go.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I got 30, 40%. You can't threaten me anymore because if I drop 40% and we all walk out the door and unified, okay, like I did in Vegas. Remember in Vegas, they went all union up there in Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as soon as they go out and walk out the door, there's no cars being made, no money being made. Because let me tell you something. I went out. Have you ever gone to the tour out there and watched them make a car out of a piece of metal?
I have not, no.
Oh, you need to. It's really interesting. It's like little ants running around with different colored uniforms and hats and everything. And I watched one thing. I didn't see one yellow person. I didn't see one beige person. I didn't see one black person. I didn't even see one white person. I didn't see anybody other than Koreans supervising in supervisor positions. Where's that equity and equality, guys? Is that one of their problems? They don't get to supervise?
Well, that's for you stupid, silly Americans. We're Koreans. We're not buying into that.
Well, what's funny is that me and you both drive Kias. I mean,
right. Well, and I still love the Kia.
Yeah. Well, mine's made at least mine's made down the street. In Georgia? Correct?
Yeah. Same with mine.
I tell you right.
Yeah. Mine's a 22 K5. Telluride's a great car. I kind of want that one.
Exactly. But my whole point is, I just love to hear exactly. Are they going to have somebody there from the UAW there, right?
Yeah, and the plan is to bring on both perspectives on this. My instinct is kind of, I like right to work and the way unions, especially close shop and legacy costs, can weigh down a business. And
Joey, we gave them everything out there to have that plant, to have those jobs. I mean, we built train tracks out to them, interstate exits out to them, gave them the land for free. I mean, we gave a lot for that. Am I right?
Oh, yeah, there were a lot of things that sweeten the deal.
Exactly. So that's my whole point about it is, I would love. Are you going to have somebody from the Hyundai Manufacturing Company as a representative there?
I don't know if that's in the works. We're just getting started on this issue, but I know we have somebody booked on Monday for next week talking against the idea of unionization.
I would love to hear their side. I would love to hear their side, even if they got a lawyer or they got a community relations person or publicist or whatever. I'd like to hear their side of the story, why these things, and have everybody in the same freaking room.
Absolutely. Cool.
When's that going to be, Joey?
I don't know. We just came up with the idea. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Oh, my bad. Okay. I thought, well, let us know ahead of time because that I've got to, if I have to coordinate some personal time off, I'm going to have to listen. I can't listen to it at work, of course. My job, I'd be fired, But with that being said, I would love to hear. I like to hear everybody's side. I'm not on anybody's side right now.
Right. So likewise, that's how I'm approaching this. It probably won't be everybody at the same time, but we'll be doing different interviews with different parties, different perspectives, and I appreciate you calling, though, Soldier Boy. I'm running out of time this segment.
Thanks, man.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by, Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and her team are ready to help you, with buying a home. Could be you're not a first-time home buyer, but you had a bad experience with another, say, like National, one of those internet companies, or just, you didn't know what you were doing, what you're getting into. The beautiful thing about Alabama Home Mortgage is they walk with you every step of the way, from pre-approval all the way to closing day, and actually sit down to get to know you, get to know your goals in buying and owning a home, and they can get you the best possible deal. They also have great refinance deals, especially for your veterans. Maybe you're stuck under credit card debt. Could be other types of debt. Could just be a cash crunch issue. Well, if you're a veteran, you can refinance up to 100% of your home's estimated value. And even if you're not a veteran, they still have great cash out refinance deals. And now, Madeline mentioned this to us here in the studio the other day. If you have student loans and you have equity built up in your home, you need to call Alabama Home Mortgage. They can get you a rate refinance deal that could get that student loan off your back. So check out Alabama Home Mortgage today. That's 567-4223, 567-4223, or you can always visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. More news and views in the afternoon. Well, after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
My name is Chris Tarantino, and I'm running for Prattville City Council District 5. My goals for Prattville include improving technology for our schools and first responders, prioritize upgrades to infrastructure, enhancing our parks and rec facilities, ensuring efficient use of public funds and accountability with taxpayer money. You can find more information about me and my vision for Prattville on Facebook or at ChrisTarantino for District5.com.
Paid for by Chris Tarantino, 518 Seasons Court, Prattville, Alabama, 36066.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Well, it looks like Biloxi Gambler wants to get in on the action. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, Joey. Hope you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to respond to the other gentleman there. He doesn't work at Hyundai, so he don't get a vote. And I don't work at Hyundai, so I don't get a vote. It's up to the employees that work there if they feel they need one. But didn't Eddie just say, I think this week, or that when he was working there, they had him working 14 days before they got 2 days off?
Yeah, and that conversation was on Friday for folks who want to go look up.
Yeah. So the reason people unionize is not for more money as much as working conditions and job security. Those are the two main things. I know a little bit about unions.
Right.
And it's job security, working conditions, and safety. Now, the Hyundai is great. We love Hyundai and has given a lot of jobs, but they ran out of people that were qualified to be able to do those jobs, and they've imported a lot of people from up north because we're not traditionally car builders down here. And, well, Well, that's evident by the ones that are made in Montgomery that they've had to recall because they have sudden oil leaks and all that kind of stuff, where the bottom just drops out. And we're not car builders. We're trained to be car builders, but all the management out there are, and they're good people. I'm not knocking. I don't want anybody to say racist or anything, but they're not from here. Didn't Eddie also say that they flew him to Korea for training stuff and everything for his job? He'd flown to Korea. Hyundai flew him out there.
I don't remember the detail. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I believe he did. When he comes back, you can ask, especially during that conversation.
Sure.
But it's top down management and the Korean way of doing things, the Asian way of doing things, maybe the best way of doing things. They work 7 days a week. They work 12 hours a day. They can't understand why you're either sleeping, eating.
Yeah, but Eddie also made the point that they also have a union in Korea, one of the strongest ones, that helps kind of regulate Hyundai from the bottom up. So,
and they don't have one here, so maybe that's why they want one here. Maybe they came here running wild. I don't know. I don't work there. Right. I don't know anybody that works there other than what Eddie had said. But I don't know, Soldier Boy. It's up to them. We're not there. We don't know what's going on. But it's not about more money. It's going to be about working conditions and job security. Yes. Because if you didn't work that 14 days before you take 2 days off, then you're fired. Well, with the union, not so fast. You're not fired. But anyway, that was my 2 cents on that, and I look forward to your shows. You said they're going to be on Monday. You're going to start, or?
Yeah, there'll be one fella, Vincent something, more idea against unions, against this unionization.
Yeah, there's always be somebody against unions, just like the Amazon plant up there near Birmingham, and of course, that was.
And then we're happy to bring on anybody in more the pro camp, whether they work out there, want to do something anonymously, or if we just get a direct rep of UAW.
As long as they have an election, then the employees get to vote, and that'll take care of itself. And maybe they don't want one, but, it's just like the Amazon place. They steered everybody to vote against it, and that's okay. We're not very bright in Alabama anyway, but that's our education system. We keep people dumbed down. But anyway, thanks a lot, Joey.
Thank you. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, man. How you doing, sir?
How you doing, Randall?
Oh, good, man. I'm glad you got your earpiece fixed. Man, Jay the owner. Jay got a new vibrance for Bluewater. It's almost like he took over management or something.
A new vibrance?
Yeah, I'm just talking about it. Like he's been on it, like fixing every little nook cranny that's been aggravating as far as static wise.
And also, let's be honest, Randall, and I'm not going to betray anything, but Jay, I think, has a private life. He has a pretty good one. He doesn't share it with all the world, and I think it keeps him a happy man.
Oh yeah, no doubt, and I understand what you're saying, but yeah, you just tell he's been on it, man. This whole year, been fixing buzzers and anything that has to do with static, and if you ain't happy, he's making you happy, man. I'm just kudos to Jay. That's all I just say. Back to you, Jay. But man, and listen to Eddie and some of the other callers call in, and what I've read on text messages, and man, Hyundai needs some help out there. Like, I don't know who might be against them not having somebody look over their back, but pretty much what Eddie says is them not having nobody looking over them, making sure they're doing right. They treat people like they want to, and it ain't too good. And it just seems like they need a little be put in check. But I was calling. Anybody knows? I know we got a lot of people listening from Maxwell and stuff, but man, we just had two. They look like maybe some old-time school bombers, but I could be out of place by saying this. But they were just met with 3. They don't look like the new Raptors, but it could have been the new Raptors. But they were just met with three jets up in the sky, and one of them was pushed, slammed to the east side of west side of Prattville. Like, I don't know if they got too close to Maxwell, or if they were being escorted to Tuskegee. But like they just, I don't know. I ain't know if anybody called in, man.
No, it's the first time hearing it.
Yeah, it just happened. It just took place on platform. When I tell you that one jet pushed that one over pushed it to the east, it didn't look like it was friendly to me. But I could be wrong. But
yeah, maybe they're practicing something.
Maybe so. But
and I think we have the F-35 contingent here now. Unless I'm mistaken, I don't know if we have any F-22s around here.
Oh, the Raptors ain't made it here yet. You don't think? I didn't think there was a Raptor now, but it didn't look like it didn't look like the old school that was here either. They look like something that got called out that we don't usually see up in the sky above Max. They just look different, man. I had never seen these three fighter jets look. They had a red tip.
Randall, that's what you get for looking up.
That's what I get for looking up. Crap falls on your face, don't it? But, man, I just want to say kudos to Jay. I really was calling about that and asking about the aircraft, what just took place on Prattville. Looked a little sketchy. I was just curious if anybody know what just happened.
Yeah, feel free to call in, folks, 272-9228. Appreciate it, Randall.
Appreciate you, bro.
Later. 272-9228. This part of the program, again, brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And, you know, men, as we get a little up there in age, you can start to notice some problems like erectile dysfunction and low testosterone. It's not something to put off. Don't be embarrassed about it. And don't wait to get it fixed. Yeah, I know guys hate going to the doctor. I hate going to the doctor. But Montgomery Men's Health was created to take care of guys just like us. So if you find yourself lacking motivation, energy, drive, always tired, even a decrease in sex drive, unweighted weight gain, loss of muscle mass, feel like you're walking through life in a fog, well, knowing whether you have low testosterone is huge in combating some of these issues. Now, you should get a testosterone and PSA check as part of your annual men's health routine. Urologists are even recommending men at the age of 18 should start getting the testosterone checked. It's not just a maturation thing. Of course, you're going to lose testosterone as you get into your 40s, 50s, 60s. But you're now seeing guys who are walking around, young guys, and they feel miserable and they just don't know it. But low T can affect the quality of life big time. So the providers of Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup, plus a consultation for, well, only $99. And Montgomery Men's Health has low T treatments that truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. You usually even notice an increased libido. You can actually book the same day that you call. Guys, it's time to feel amazing and hit your goals this year. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today, and be sure to tell them that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Don't settle for what Uncle Sam wants to give you. Get to Toyota of Montgomery today, where we'll double your tax refund. This month only, Toyota of Montgomery will double your money. If you have a $1,000 refund, we'll double it to $2,000. $2,000 is now $4,000. $5,000 is now up to $10,000. It gets even better because Toyota of Montgomery has incredible incentives on our new inventory, like the new 2024 Toyota Camry LE, now only $299 a month, or the best-selling new 2024 RAV4 LE. It's only $349 a month. That's double your refund money up to $10,000 plus save on new Toyotas and more for your trade. Get to Toyota of Montgomery online at toyotamontgomery.com. Part of the Sutherland Automotive Group. Dealer will match tax refund after $5,000 from dealer discount off TSRP. Example, 2024 Toyota Sequoia Hybrid Capstone 4-wheel drive in-transit vehicle. TSRP $84,172. Camry MSRP $30,958. RAV4 MSRP $28,214. 12,000 miles per year for 39 month leases with 3638 due at signing. $0 security deposit with approved credit on sealed new Toyota purchases. Select new Toyota purchases plus taxes, tag, title, and $999. Offers end 2/29/2024.
Lewis at the Capital Oyster Bar, and I just want to tell you, if you're in business or got an event coming up and want to do some advertising, wisely spent dollars are spent down here at Blue Water Broadcasting. All the guys are nice, easy to work with, and I see results, I guarantee you.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole. The Johnny Adams Law Firm, proud sponsor of the Rich Thomas Weather Network. You can't control the weather, but you can control your drive. Be aware of your surroundings in any weather. Be a defensive driver. Your family and friends will thank you. From the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
We've got another good day in progress. Extensive high clouds will lead to limited sunshine today, but still dry, still mild. High temperature in the mid-60s again. Not as cool tonight, overnight low 51. Tomorrow, high temperature up to about 73 with mostly cloudy skies. Still dry Friday, but for Saturday and Sunday, periods of showers and thunderstorms, locally heavy downpours at times. 72 on Saturday for a high, near 70 on Sunday. And I still think the main event will be Sunday night into early Monday with showers and storms. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
At ASE Credit Union, financing your next adventure is easier than ever with rates as low as 5.25%. Apply online or visit your local branch today. Federally insured by the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union, your life, your goals, your ASE.
Hey, this is Randy and Tammy Burkhalter at Prattville Farm Center.
Hey, Randy, tell me about those hot chicks I've been hearing about.
Now, Tammy, I don't know any since we got married.
No, Randy, the baby chicks.
Oh, yeah, we're getting Rhode Island Reds, Americanas, Buff Orpingtons, and about 6 other different varieties.
Plus ducks, turkeys, geese, and guineas.
Hey, and raising chickens is a great family project.
And you get to look forward to fresh eggs.
Visit Prattville Farm Center at 1154 South Memorial Drive and pick up your hot chicks today.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. We got Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet on the line. Hey, Ray.
Hey, dude, I was getting out of my truck, and I was on the phone, and when I hung up, I got the tail end of a conversation. Were they talking about those 3 jets that just flew over?
Yeah, and then somebody called off air confirming what Randall saw. He said it actually looked like one small plane being escorted by 4, 2 on each side of these fighter
that
jets.
Was the craziest thing, just flew over Prattville. I'm like, man, I would be, if I was that pilot, I'd have to go home and change my pants.
No, aren't you glad those are on our side for the time being?
That was, literally, that's the last thing you expect to see when you walk out the front door of Prattville Carpet, are 4 jets escorting a plane. And I reckon he must have flown into Maxwell Airspace or something.
Yeah.
I'm not a pilot. I don't understand all those airways and stuff, but Ron is, and I know there's places around here you do not fly.
Well, and Mark Cumby's writing on the stream, the F-35 Lightning II, which we have, is in the air. The Raptor's the F-22, right? And that we don't have that. All their fighter planes are being moved to another base other than our F-35. So maybe, yeah, I'm wondering if this was arranged or if somebody just got in the wrong airspace, because I don't get calls like this every day. It makes me think something's off here.
No, it really was a strange sight to see when you looked up the air, because you could hear them, and of course you automatically look up, and then there's 4 of them in one small plane. I was like, "Oh, somebody just screwed up."
And somebody's texting me that the F-35s are here showing for the public this Saturday. Huh.
Okay. Yeah, they're going to be really loud when they get here from now on. We're going to live in a really loud airspace. But, hey, you know what? It doesn't bother me. They're really cool to look at.
Now folks are sending me photos. Hey, you still sell carpet?
We do. We sell carpet. So, listen, if you're as excited as I am over these planes that just flew over about a new floor, call me, because you'll be even more excited when we get done. Call us at 285-8117. We'll come out, keep that free measurement. Next thing you know, you got a floor down. Just that simple.
Appreciate you as always. Thanks, Ray.
All right, y'all have a great day. Bye.
Man, phones are blowing up now about I think this plane. And there's so much I didn't get to. Y'all going to be watching that Putin interview with Tucker tonight? Let's go to Papa B. Hey, Papa B.
Definitely want to watch Tucker's interview. And it's amazing how many people are trying to, I guess what? They don't want to interview Putin. I mean, Putin has been interviewed a lot of times by other people in the press.
Yeah, but Tucker's a propagandist, is going to not correct him. Yeah, because every time y'all ask him Putin about, have you poisoned people and assassinated folks? Yeah, he gives you a straight up answer. You really got the goods with those tough questions. Like, it's just
right.
Stupid.
It is stupid. Well, I'll say this about this whole unionization push. I have many problems with the unions. Not least of which is, if a place unionizes, it's kind of like getting herpes. You can never get rid of it. You'll die with it.
Right.
If there was a way to get rid of them as quick as you brought them in, maybe so. But that ain't going to happen. Their strong-arm tactics, they, are known for organized crime connections at least. And they inevitably and invariably sponsor the Democrat Party. They're only one side of the ledger when it comes to politics.
Even if membership
even
if membership doesn't agree, that tends to be where leadership of those go. Yeah, you're right.
Well, of course, that's exactly right. The one thing that I am totally against and has got, let me just say this, all of the union laws have got to be reined in and watered down to the point where they can be handled a little easier by individuals. But public service unions, they have got to go. We've got to get rid of those things. They are one of the just banes of this.
Wait, you're telling me like
political
teachers and police shouldn't be able to unionize and compete and negotiate against the taxpayer?
Absolutely.
I agree with you 100%.
Their whole focus should be that they are concerned about the public, not about the union, and that is what they inevitably are concerned about if they are able to unionize. But anyway, all right, guys, thanks a lot. I appreciate you letting me talk. Hope you have a great evening, and I'll hopefully talk to you tomorrow.
Appreciate you, Papa B. And folks, breaking news came out in the last 10-15 minutes that the special counsel Robert Hur, I guess broke at the top of the hour, described President Biden as sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory, and said he would bring no criminal charges against the president, even though Biden willfully kept these documents. And Jack Posobiec put this out on the Twitter. This is directly from the special counsel's report, quoting it. In his interview with our office, Mr. Biden's memory was worse. He did not remember when he was vice president, forgetting on the first day of the interview when his term ended. Quote, if it was 2013, when did I stop being vice president? And forgetting on the second day of the interview when his term began in 2009, am I still vice president? He did not remember, even within several years, when his son Beau died. And his memory appeared hazy when describing the Afghanistan debate that was once so important to him. Among other things, he mistakenly said he had a real difference of opinion with General Carl Eikenberry, when in fact Eikenberry was an ally whom Mr. Biden cited approvingly in his Thanksgiving memo to President Obama. Wow. Yeah, and Biden continues to mistake folks who are dead for being alive. So no charges against Joe. But that's kind of damning. I wonder who got in Robert Her's ear. Maybe he's just telling the truth. No, Red Dawn does not explain. It's not Red Dawn does not explain the jets. Let's go to line 4. You're on there. Who's this?
It's the Master Thespian. So I pulled up here in the parking lot at AUM and heard you talking about the jets, and I opened my door and heard the noise and looked up. There were 5 jets total traveling from southeast all the way to northwest. Looked like they were headed to Maxwell. 2 of them looked like 238, but the other 4 looked like F-35. Okay, they had that distinctive red on the V-tail. So they're probably just gathering planes in for this thing this weekend, I reckon. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and what a show. And it's an amazing, expensive, but a pretty amazing piece of technology.
Well, if they're coming in from different directions, it sounds like they're gathering them from different bases. So that's exciting, fun. So apparently it's going to be okay as a valid legal defense to say, I forgot because I've got dementia or Alzheimer's.
I guess, that's just, why would a special counsel go into that much detail about this man doesn't even remember anything? It almost seems like they're not charging him, but they're also stabbing him in the heart, politically speaking.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're trying to say, okay, we're not going to charge him, but that doesn't mean he didn't do it. You know?
Right.
Doesn't mean he's not guilty.
This might be the beginning of the end for old Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
Well, that description sounds like it could be grounds to have him pulled out of office for what's the clause? Not the
25th Amendment.
Yeah, 45th.
Or 25th.
Pull him out of office for that.
Mm.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I
don't think they're going to go there because they don't want Kamala as president. No. I think it's more going to be somebody convinces Joe he's got to step down.
Well, how do you convince someone with Alzheimer's to step down?
I don't know. You get Jill to grab him by that thing dangling near his knees.
Well, we'll see what happens in the fullness of time.
Maybe that explains all the reason he keeps tripping.
Well, could be.
He's tripping over
could
it.
Be. Maybe she just learned a lasso. You just throw a lasso on the way. Come here, boy. All right, I got to go. I'll see y'all later.
272-9228. This part of the program, before we close up shop, brought to you, again, by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. Do not forget that tonight they have a big Facebook Live event where you can get an early, preview of, some of the new arrivals there at Dillon Rings, showcasing their stunning new arrivals of jewelry. You can get a first look at their latest collection and snag your favorites before anyone else. Mark your calendars, tune in to Dillon Rings' Facebook page tonight, 6 o'clock our time. Don't miss out on this dazzling event. And again, gentlemen, Valentine's Day coming up. Dillon Rings is the place to go if you want to, show your love. You can always call them at 215-3669. I encourage you to watch this Facebook Live event tonight at Dillon Rings' Facebook page. But the best way to work with Josh and Leslie Ryder, stop by that showroom, 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery. And be sure to tell them that Joey, that fellow on the radio, sent you. Well, that was the weirdest final hour of a show in a while, but I appreciate all the calls, all the people spotting all these planes, all the breaking news jumping out. Thank you to Jay and to our engineer Craig for fixing things behind the scenes. And, hopefully we'll have a smooth, fun show tomorrow, Friday, noon to 3. Y'all stay tuned, though. Happy Hour with Greg Budell. Yeah, he's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When